in the first round. And they're an 11 seed going up against South Carolina. But again, it doesn't fit the criteria for the Cinderella.
Cinderella getting that Nike money.
Yeah, right.
Hey, they did not have a great year.
They didn't, to be fair.
Yeah.
But that's part of the mistake. Like what was it, a few years back, Syracuse was like a 10 or 11 seed. They made it all the way. Syracuse is not a Cinderella. You don't get to be a Cinderella if you're Syracuse. Greg, did we miss one?
I mean, look, in this tournament, anybody can be Cinderella. What I would say, though, is be conscious and just be aware of the teams that nobody's talking about. Literally nobody's talking about.
Anybody in particular?
I mean, I'm just looking about, does anybody think that 13th seed Yale is going to beat Auburn? Anybody think that Duke is going to be given a game against Vermont?
The Catamounts?
How about this? Catamounts have kept it within 10 points each of the last 3 tournaments. They've been a 13 seed. They're a 13 seed. Could they hang around? Duke has had a moment. Lehigh in the past. They've been upset before.
And by the way, look, make the jokes you want. I don't like the way Illinois plays for playing in this tournament. So that's why I like Duquesne as a sort of looking ahead in the second round, getting to the Sweet 16. But, yeah, Morehead State, look out.
Yeah, and the Morehead State jokes keep coming in. Ticket texters, they can shoot from long range. They go 9 deep, so they have lots of stamina. They haven't blown a lead under 5 minutes, so they don't choke. Just keep them coming. 248-539-9797. We'll take all your Morehead State jokes.
You're going to make this man's day. Those are some Cinderella candidates. Coming up next, MSU's playing on Thursday to kick off the tournament. I wanted to ask a question about, are you trying to sneak out of work? Is your workplace doing anything different? I would love those phone calls as well. But John was listening to the afternoon show yesterday.
Yeah.
And they're
trying to sneak out.
Like it's a funeral. Like put us out of our misery and let us enjoy the tournament. We'll talk about that next. It's 97.1.
Hey, I've got some big news from Dr. Berkowitz at Michigan Hair Restoration. Aesthetic Everything just named him the top hair restoration surgeon in the Midwest and one of the top aesthetic doctors in America. Congrats to him. And how incredible is it that Dr. B is right here in Metro Detroit, making it easy to restore your hair by the very best. So if you've been thinking about going to see him, get in now and look younger and feel more confident with a thicker head of hair by summer. Also, the sooner you go to see him, the more options you have. Dr. B does so much more than just hair transplants. He has the most up-to-date, well-researched medical therapies and natural pathways to stop your hair loss and improve thickness. With treatment plans that fit almost every budget, Dr. B takes the time to create a custom plan just for you, and he guarantees all of his treatments. So call Michigan Hair Restoration and speak to Maria. Mention 97.1 and you'll receive a complimentary natural hair remedy treatment at your consultation. And hey, that's $1,000 value. You don't want to miss this. For more information and to schedule a consult with Dr. B, go to MichiganHairRestoration.com.
Ticket texter. We did not have Morehead State in the Cinderella watch. Texter says, my wife is rooting for Longwood, and I'm hoping for Morehead State. Harry in his truck.
Both good options.
Yeah?
Wife's
Big fans of the
stuck,
program? Yeah.
She's kind of stuck with what you got.
All right, good group of kids. Hope they can surprise the world. What were you thinking about? Texter says, John, are you in 5th grade or something? Come on. You had a Michigan education. What are we doing here?
It may be Michigan educated, but you can still have a good time. Like, I mean, let's not get too serious about some of this stuff here. Let's have some fun. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Rico.
Speaking of Rico, you were listening a little yesterday. I said, I want to talk about Michigan State being the opening game of the tournament. And the fact that the game starts at 12:15 on Thursday. And you're going to have people at the office. Everybody got like little tricks to sneak watch March Madness. With it being MSU, would you consider taking the day? Are there workplaces that are just kind of throwing their hands up and going, we get it. We know you're going to be distracted. I wanted to talk about all that because I do think there's some excitement in your team being in the tournament.
Especially kicking things off.
And yet.
So I want to know what people think about this comment because I was listening briefly. I was in the car. I was going to the grocery store, and I wish Michigan was in the tournament. And whether or not you like the season or not, I wish that they were in the tournament. You could go into a season with high hopes, but the goal is to get into. I thought the goal was if you're not going to win a championship, obviously that's the goal for the Big Ten, for whatever conference you're in, win a tournament to get into the tournament. Michigan didn't accomplish either of those. But you got to have a seat at the table to see something happen. This was what I heard yesterday from the Spartans at this station.
Put us out of our misery from the afternoon show. And those are the Spartans who are most noteworthy on the station.
I understand being disappointed in the results that your team has had this year. You could be disappointed in your coach, in your team, in a lot of things, but you got a seat at the table. You can't tell me, and this to me is, I can't understand, I can't wrap my hand around it, that you're one of the teams. You've got a seat at the table. You got a chance to do something. And maybe it's not a national championship, but maybe it's a Sweet 16. Maybe it's an 8. Maybe it's a 4. Who knows? But you got a seat at the table. You're telling me they're actively hoping that their team loses in the first round so that they can enjoy the rest of the tournament?
Ticket Texter points out Rico took option A. Rico is rooting for his team to make noise. It's just Mike. But is it indicative of Spartan fans is the question. 248-539-9797. Do you want to be put out of your misery so you can, quote, enjoy the rest of the tournament? The tournament's more enjoyable if your team's alive. I don't even know that that's a debate.
I can't wrap my head around the possibility of, well, I can't wrap my head around the possibility of Michigan being in the tournament this year, but if they were, that I would want them to get a first-round ousting. If you got a seat at the table, you want to sit there as long as possible.
What point would it prove? Do you think Izzo's going to retire if they lose in the first round? As much as you may want it, it's not going to change anything. And maybe you wanted them to miss the tournament because then it accentuates the fall of the program. They're in. So and they have a favorable round one matchup. Win and advance.
If there are any Spartan fans out there that agree with Mike, that you just want this season to be over. Even though you're in the tournament, you want it to be done as soon as this game is over so that you can enjoy the rest of the tournament. Please explain. Please call 248-539-9797. Explain that logic to me.
Yeah, we've got different programs, but my program hasn't been to the tournament since 2003. Oakland's in for the first time in a decade. Getting into the dance is a big deal. And I get it. Michigan State's done it 26 years in a row now. Getting in isn't the story. It's doing something once you get in. And your team was preseason top 5. The talent was there. They've underachieved. Ken Palm has them as one of the 25 best teams in the field, severely underseeded. So the talent, the metrics are there.
Well,
they haven't played up to it, but the idea is you're in and you are not eliminated. The season's not over. You show up, you root for your team, and if they lose, you can be critical of them. You should be critical of them if they get bounced in the first round, but you don't go in, or at least I can't fathom going in and just being like, get eliminated so I can watch everybody else. Your team is in.
But when you say that they've underperformed a preseason ranking, yeah, they were ranked number 4. That's an arbitrary ranking. That's somebody throwing darts at a dartboard saying, yeah, we think Michigan State's going to be good. We think Kentucky's going to be good, or Kansas. But as soon as the season starts to play, that's why I always say you got to let it play out.
Oh, this guy.
See what happens.
We'll just do radio tomorrow.
In the NCAA tournament. So you got an opportunity to extend your season. You have an opportunity to right a wrong. If you think that you've underperformed, all right, get right. Now's the time to get right, and you can get a win in the first round. Maybe you can get through the first weekend and extend your season an entire week.
Some of it I get it. Second game is North Carolina in Charlotte. North Carolina, Baycott, big mismatch. North Carolina, a core that went to the title game 2 years ago. It's probably where the story ends. Probably is. I think they could win their first game against Mississippi State. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. That team doesn't shoot well. It might not be the prettiest watch, but the point is you're still in and you still have a chance and you watch to see. That's what this time of year is all about. Let's go to Jack in Royal Oak, get his thoughts. Jack, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. Yeah, so diehard Spartan basketball fan here, and I got to tell you, so I'm pretty apathetic about the whole thing. Like, I'm kind of with Rico in that I'm glad we made the tournament and kept the streak alive and all that stuff. But this has just not been a very fun team to watch all year, especially the last 2 months. Like, there's just been not a lot of excitement at all, and they're not good. Like, they just have some pure flaws that you can always see that always kind of rear their head throughout these games. So, I don't know, man. I'm kind of. It just feels like the last 4 years we've been in a lull, and this is just we were supposed to be better this year. We were clearly not, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, kind of a shoulder shrug. I don't really care.
So I get it. If you're a Michigan State fan, it's been a 4-year decline, and the payoff was supposed to be when these guys are seniors, right? When you have, okay, it's Malik Hall's senior year, and you're going to throw Tyson Walker out there, lead the way another year, and Hogard, and you feel like you've got seniors that are going to make this all worth it, and it hasn't been. I get the dissatisfaction in the program. I do. I get that, Jack.
In the freshmen too. I mean, the freshmen. I think most of us thought. Obviously, we had a lot of old players that were going to be good, but then we also have these star freshmen that were going to come in and perform well. And
Fears and Booker, yeah.
Jeremy Fears got shot and all that. That's and Booker just.
Well, and predictably,
and Carr hasn't been getting a lot of run.
Right. Well, and predictably, Booker isn't playing a ton. I mean, that's like Tom Izzo 101. The idea that you'd have a talented freshman that still needs to, forged in fire and needs to go through the developmental process. It's very Izzo.
Well, it is, and this is. I think most Spartan fans anticipate this is the roller coaster you're going to be on, and to sit here and say, okay, well. Are they a 19-win team? Should they be a 24-win team? Should they be a top 10 team? You have that chance to play. And I understand the frustrations and underperforming. But to sit there and say, I want to be done, I just want this season to be over, please lose so the season is over, that to me is, there's no logic in that.
I think there's two pretty extreme camps. There's root for them to lose because they're so bad and I just want it to be over and I hate watching my team. And then there's the other side, which is I'm going to make time during the workday on Thursday to watch my team in the NCAA tournament. Which camp are you in as a Spartan fan? 248-539-9797. We'll get to more of that after Falar's update. 97.1.
Brought to you by National Benefit Plans. The Honolulu Blue offensive line replaces one Pro Bowl guard with another. Kevin Zeitler agreeing to a one-year deal with the Lions after he went to Orlando last month as an alternate for the Ravens. Zeitler is 34 years old and has played right guard his entire career. We may see a shift for Graham Glasgow. Jaden Ivey scoring 21 points, but the Celtics were way too much for the Pistons to handle at the TD Garden. No Jason Tatum, no problem. They still won 119-94, just the sixth time the Pistons were held under 100, but second in their last 3 games. Ivey took the podium after the setback. And Boston did hit 22 triples, and the Pistons had no Cade and no Fontecchio. They've got 14 games left in their season. The White Sox will counter Tarek Skubal with 24-year-old lefty Garrett Crochet when the season opens next Thursday, announced as Chicago's opening day starter, which is actually the first start of his career. MLB.com says this is just the 9th time in 110 years that a pitcher's debut in the rotation comes during game number 1. The Tigers also have their own rotation decisions to make with 6 possible starters for 5 spots, and the season's set to start in 9 days. They were off yesterday. Jack Flaherty will pitch tonight in Lakeland versus the Phillies. From the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
Ticket text coming in. Michigan State's going to kick off the tournament on Thursday during the workday. I was asking if you had a workplace that was going to just give up, give in, understand people are going to be watching, or if you're one of these people that has a little cheat code, little hack to get around it and watch your team. That is assuming you want to watch your team in the tournament. Afternoon show, a couple Spartans. I mean, the discussion yesterday was to put us out of our misery. Valeni says, put us out of our misery. I just want this team to be eliminated so I can enjoy the tournament. Is that a real belief among Spartan fans, given I get it how disappointing the season is, but your team's in it. A ticket texter compares it to pizza, John. Not always great, but it's still pizza. The tournament is pizza.
Yeah, and you got a chance to – these kids have a chance to do something unique for this team, right? And that is – play a couple of games at a high level. Now, are they going to have to play a high level to beat Mississippi State? They're going to have to play good, but as you mentioned it, they match up well with Mississippi State. Now, to play and beat North Carolina, sure, you're going to have to play your best game, and North Carolina will probably have to, not play theirs. They're going to have to play, characteristically bad, or uncharacteristically bad. But that can happen. That's the beauty of the tournament. Now all of a sudden, hey, you're into week 2, and who knows what you're doing? Is it Alabama that you might get? Who knows what could happen?
The bottom half of their bracket have a bunch of really good offenses, and MSU struggles to score. So I get the challenges, but the first opponent is not a team that scores. They're a team that could crash the glass, and you may be pulling your hair out and going, this is everything Izzo's program used to be. But the reality is, I don't think Mississippi State runs away with the game. I think Michigan State hangs in. They've got their guards. They should win that game. I believe they should win their first game. If you think you're winning the first game, I don't know how you go into the tournament just resigned. Anyway, we want to get inside the psyche of Spartan fans this morning. Chris in East Lansing, you're on 97.1.
Hey guys, I was just calling, like the screener was saying, I'm from East Lansing. I'm an Izzo fan until I die. There's really no reason I don't think you want to see your team lose in the tournament. That's really all I gotta say. Thanks for the show, guys.
Hey, Chris, real quick, how do you feel about their chances?
I haven't really seen how they match up against Mississippi State. I always like them. Like you said, maybe in the first weekend, North Carolina will probably be a tough game, but I'm still going to be watching, I'm still going to make time. Go Green.
All right.
There you go.
He's dialed in.
Yeah, and if you're not super excited about the matchup, if you're not super excited about Michigan State's chances, I understand not taking the vacation day or taking the afternoon off of work, but I would be shocked if most Spartan fans weren't sitting there going, I hope we still win.
Yeah. I mean, with people who have an office job, it's just accepted, right, that you're going to be watching the games during the workday, right?
Well, especially now you can stream everything on your computer.
Right.
And all of a sudden, hey, boss walks around and one button and it's off the screen. No one is the wiser.
you got your phone, you just prop it up and stream the game on your phone if you need to. I mean, there's a million ways to. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Everybody accepts the fact that it's going to be a low productive couple of days in the office.
Yeah, I mean,
especially for a local team that's going to be playing.
Right, and you can take an extended lunch. There's workarounds. Let's get Dustin's thoughts. Dustin, you're on 97.1.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for having me. It's my first time calling in. Love listening to you guys. From where I'm coming from, I mean, long-time MSU fan, I can't not watch them. I'm finding any way I can get out of work to watch them. I think if you're in the tournament, I mean, there's a chance for anything to happen. I love Tom Izzo. He's Mr. March for a reason. So I agree with the callers that it's been a tough season, especially the last month, watching them lose to Purdue twice. But I don't know, man. Just try to keep positive, and I can't wait for Thursday.
What do you do for work? How feasible or viable is it for you to actually carve out some time and sneak away?
So I am an engineer for General Motors, and but I work hybrid. So anything I can do to get my work done, maybe start early on Thursday, and then finish up after work or after the game. Put a couple hours in afterwards. I'll figure something out.
See you
get out of meetings.
Well, that's don't go to a meeting between noon and 2:30.
Yep.
But that's the difference with work from home now. Is there are some people with the flexibility to go, hey, if I get started a little earlier, if I get my work done a little later.
Yeah, or if I'm at home, I can have the TV on behind the computer screen,
right, still be working,
working, but watching, and scoreboard watching, what's going on.
Yeah,
no one's the wiser.
Todd in Port Huron. Todd, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm one of those people that I'm tired. I'm okay with them losing. I've been a fan since the 70s. Loved watching Judd Heathcote, watched Magic Johnson when he came down to Western Michigan University when I was a little kid in Kalamazoo. That was awesome. But it's kind of like having a college friend or even a high school friend that was a good buddy. You hung out with them. You guys abused each other. You messed with each other all the time. But about 20 years later, you realize, you know what? I've got kids. I've got a family. I've got a life. My new friends seem to be a little bit more mature. My new friends seem to care a little bit more about me than themselves. And I'm kind of getting tired of the abuse. I'm getting tired of the expectations of the old man system. It's almost like Judd Heathcote had a contract with him that said, you still can't play freshmen. We get great freshmen. I mean, you look at Taylor, you look at Anna Gagne, you look at all these Mope, all these guys through the years, but we had a great run. He's won one national championship in how many years? And so, yes, he does great at the dance, everything else. We get in. Providence should have been in over us. So I think for me, it is. I'm just tired. I'm tired of the every year thing, and we get one big year. We beat Zion, So, oh man, this is the year. This is the year. But then we just stumble back through these processes, and we let the guys go, and we go, well, because they're 18, 19 years old, they don't fit in our system yet. And the problem is they're sitting the bench. They're not getting the playing time during the season. And so that's, I think for me, I don't want State as a team to lose. I want to be done with the old regime. I just do. And again, when Izzo came on, big Izzo fan, loved the Midnight Madness, loved going and watching him with a boxing glove and the capes, loved it when they rode in on the Harleys. Man, that was awesome. But it's old. It's old,
Todd,
and I'm ready for a new friend.
Todd, do you kind of feel like the program's being held hostage? Like, just listening to you talk, I get kind of that sense.
Well, anytime you extend a lifetime contract to someone, you got to figure out what you're going to do with them next. And then who's going to be the bad person to step up? All the negative that's happened in the sports program in the last decade at Michigan State. I mean, it's just, I said the only guy that probably could have made the move that wouldn't have been thrown under the bus would have been Ron Mason. But it seems to be that they just keep holding on, and Izzo's our savior, and Izzo's the one that's going to speak for Michigan State. And there's just not a lot there anymore. He's a great grandpa, but man, I don't want him raising my kids anymore.
There's a lot there, John.
Yeah.
Your reaction to that guy, because the criticism of Izzo is valid. The program is a shell of what it once was. They used to be a team that could win the majority of their games in conference, that would finish at or near the top of the Big Ten, that would be seated near the top of the NCAA tournament. This was one of his, if not the most talented team he had, and they got in as a 9 seed, and there were people who thought that was generous.
So
I'm one of those people.
I guess the follow-up question then is, how many people are ready for
Life
Coach
after
Izzo?
Izzo?
To move on. What does that look like? Who is that? How quickly do you recover? Now, in basketball, I do believe that it is the sport in college athletics that will be quickest, that you could turn around things quickly.
Yeah, because year to year, the roster
the transfer
changes.
portal, the players that come in, a lot of times can be one and done. You have a chance to impact your roster greater because you're only talking about, I mean, if you got 8-9 guys, but if it's 15 guys, you turn it over, and all of a sudden you got a completely different team. So, I mean, that's the thing. But the question then is, do you have that answer? If you're going to move on, that's the one I question all the time when we're talking about coaches' jobs, is if you're moving on, who is next? And it better be better than what you have.
A great example is your program, right? John Beeline was a coach's coach. 40 years, every level, X's and O's, player development, details. He leaves. Jawan's a name, but he's not a tactician. He wasn't an X's and O's. He wasn't a career coach. And the longer he was there, the worse the program was. 8-24. Now Michigan's going to face the same decision again of hiring the right coach. If you get it wrong, it does spiral. It does spiral, and I get that, but you can't be afraid to upgrade.
You can't be afraid to make that change.
To modernize your program would be another word.
Yeah, and if your program's not where you want it to be or your fan base needs it to be, 26 years in a row in the NCAA tournament. Like, that's not bad, but it's not what Michigan State fans want or expect.
Texter says that guy nailed it 5 years too long. Another one said 100,000% with Todd from Port Huron. Time to move on. Another ticket texter says, Jim, don't you dare disrespect good Izzo team saying this is one of his most talented. That's a lie. That's his line. Izzo referred to this as one of his most talented teams. I think he may have even said it was the most. That's not my word. It's his. Ticket texter says, John's been mastering the one-button click on the computer since he learned of Morehead State. Andrew from Adrian. You mentioned the one-button click when you're watching games. You look confused.
Yeah, I am. What did I say about the one-button click?
Like when your boss comes around and you can just click off the screen.
Oh,
you've mastered the one-button click.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to. Sometimes you don't want somebody to see what's on your laptop.
Of course. 248-539-9797. John.
Sorry.
Seriously?
Hey, go Morehead State. Here we go.
It's 97-1.
In an instant, things can change. And an auto accident can put you in the worst financial position of your life. It is a must to hire the right lawyer who will make sure that the insurance companies pay what they owe you. Injury attorney David Feminino and his team have been making insurance companies pay for almost 30 years, and he can help you with your injury case as well. David is ready to speak with you right now, personally. If you call 855-65-CRASH or go to his website, getdavidgetpaid.com. That's 855-65-CRASH or getdavidgetpaid.com.
Oakland head coach Greg Kampe going to join us at 9:35. End of the hour. I got something with Doug Karsh. I was listening to him yesterday, and I was so proud of him.
Oh.
Until I wasn't. We'll talk to Doug in Crosstalk end of the hour. We brought up Michigan State because they kick off the tournament on Thursday. We're asking people, you trying to get out of work for a late lunch or a longer lunch. You got a trick to look busy at work and still watch. Generally, you would be excited if your team was in the tournament. That's what I thought, only to find out that the afternoon show has basically already prepared the funeral and they just want them eliminated. Valeni said, just put them out of their misery so I can enjoy the rest of the tournament. And I wondered, is there a disconnect even amongst Spartan fans over whether or not getting in and watching your team, you're excited to watch them or not?
Not only are they prepared to move on, they are active. Not they. I'm sorry, Rico. Not they. Mike is actively hoping that they lose so that the season's simply over. And I understand his frustration.
Same.
I wish I was able to have that level of frustration. I'm not even able to do that because Michigan was so bad this year. We're not at the NCAA tournament. We're not at the NIT. We're still looking for a coach. But if we were there, I would be hoping that we could extend it and make a run as far as possible. Unlikely, but it's still possible.
Yeah, I get all the frustrations with Izzo, the direction of the program. They're not what they once were, all of that. He doesn't use the portal enough. He won't play the freshmen enough. Why did Booker not have a more prominent role? I understand all the criticism. I agree with the criticism. I understand the dissatisfaction from Michigan State fans because the standards are so high. I understand making it shouldn't really be an accomplishment at MSU. And winning a game, which I think they'll do, is not an accomplishment for MSU. But to out and out wish for it to be over when you're still alive, when it's survive and advance, that's the whole point of this time of year. I can't subscribe to that. I can't go that far.
Well, and so here's the only thing I could think, which, again, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around, is it simply this streak of 26 years in a row and Izzo being in the tournament, has it become that albatross? Has it become that thing that some Spartan fans are pointing to and looking at it and saying, hey, look at our success.
Yes.
And there is a measure of success, but it's not the Final Four appearance. It's not a national championship. It's been, 20 plus years. So
the comparison is the Red Wings playoff streak, where when they were getting in and challenging to win the Stanley Cup, it was exciting. When they were just getting in to keep the streak alive and doing nothing about it, it was sad. They were delaying the rebuild. But pro sports, you do have to rebuild. College sports, you don't necessarily have to rebuild. You hire the right coach year to year, you overhaul the roster, you start playing the younger guys, you hit the portal, and never been better. I mean, that's pro sports, you can only delay a rebuild so long. It's a little different. But I think there are some similarities in the vibes of people who just get in. Well, what if we're not going to do anything? Would you rather just miss, force change, reset, recalibrate? But that conversation was a week ago. They're in now. You can't root for them to miss the tournament. They're in. You might as well root for them to win as many games as they can. Let's get to Jim and Frazier. Jim, you're on 97.1.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm a State fan. I kind of agree with the guy from Port Huron a few callers ago. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be cheering them on. I'll be at the D watching the games this weekend. But the problem is I was kind of wishing that they wouldn't make it. I'm going to tell you why. Izzo needs to change. He needs to get in the portal. He won't go in the portal. And I understand that a lot of coaches don't like it. I coach college basketball myself, but I'm at the NAIA level. So I don't have to deal with this portal stuff or this transferring stuff. We don't really deal with it. But I can understand why he doesn't want to get involved. But this is part of basketball today, and he needs to change. And it really irritates me to the point where it's the same thing over and over and over and over. The same plays the last 20 years, the high pick and roll. I mean, nothing changes. I love Izzo. He's done a great job to build a statue for him, like Mike said. But it might be time for some new blood to get in there. And I was hoping that maybe if he didn't make it, he would change. And, I'll cheer him on. I hope they win. But if they lose, I don't expect them to go that far. This is the first time I'm going, and I don't expect them to get past the second round or the second game, I should say. So, I'm happy they're in. But also, I look back and thinking, well, if they didn't make it, maybe it might have been the best thing, like you said. Just to think where we're at this program, and maybe I need to get in the portal. But I don't think things are going to change. He's not going to change, so it's going to be the same thing over and over and over until he decides to change. And then I'm worried about who the next coach is going to be. That's my another concern. Is sometimes you wish for something different, and then you look back like, God, I wish we had Izzo back. So it's
a risk.
So I don't know. I'm just again, I'll cheer him on. I'm a Michigan State fan, but again, I don't know what to expect this weekend from them.
Yeah, I sense conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of conflict with a legend who's not performing like a legend anymore. Ticket Texter says, I hope all these Izzo haters call back when he's in the Sweet 16. Another one says, Izzo's old school, but if he could learn to embrace the portal to fill a couple spots on the roster, he could add another 5 to 7 years in his career, use that time to groom a replacement while going out with winning seasons. Tom in a car. Another one says, Mike has higher expectations for MSU than you guys do. # chair drop. It's okay to have high expectations.
Yeah. All right. Then, hey, I understand if your theory is wanting to be knocked out to hopefully force change or not make the tournament to force change. I understand that concept, but you're in the tournament. Might as well win.
And like it or not, Izzo's got the program in the palm of his hand. I mean, he's making the rules here. The idea that he's going to be shamed into anything, not happening. Greg Campy at 9:35. First tether with the news.
Have you guys been following or have you heard about Riley Strain? That's the missing college student who disappeared in Nashville. Have you heard about this?
Never
oh my
heard
gosh. Okay, so authorities are searching for him. He's a University of Missouri student. He vanished from a bar about 10 days ago. He was kicked out of this bar on March 8th. And there's a new clue that has been uncovered. After he left the bar, he did have a brief interaction with a police officer. Just a, how's it going? Oh, hey, hi. And it was all caught on his body cam footage. So they have confirmation, and they believe that that's the last time this young man was actually seen. It sounds like this isn't going to have a great outcome. They don't believe there's any foul play involved, but they've been searching for him. They also found his bank card near a river. Oh. So they have dive teams out. Obviously, they're searching the area, but nothing has been uncovered. So there is still hope that this young man will be found. They are investigating the bar to see if he was overserved. The bar says they gave him 1 alcoholic drink, which is what he purchased, and 2 glasses of water. So they are saying, we'll work with you. We're cooperating.
Yeah.
We didn't overserve him. That's being looked into. He was there with a bunch of friends. It seems kind of strange that no friend would leave the bar with him when he was kicked out. It sounds like they were still paying the tab. There is some other surveillance footage of him after he got kicked out. You can see him kind of like, where am I headed now? I'm on the sidewalk, walking down the sidewalk. But just an unfortunate story, but hopefully it will have a happy ending. It doesn't sound like that's the case, but obviously the search continues. Listen to this story. This is a guy in Taiwan. He was persuaded to have his legs amputated for a $1.3 million insurance payout, right? His buddy
Both
convinced
legs?
Yes. Unfortunately for him, the scheme backfired because he did get both legs amputated, right?
Oh,
His buddy convinced him to put his feet into a bucket of dry ice so that he'd get frostbite for 10 hours.
For 10 hours?
So he did do that, and they had a whole story, right? That the story was going to be that he got frostbite from riding on this motorcycle in the dark and at night for too long, and it was cold out, and that's how he got frostbite. The story didn't mesh well for people at the hospital. They knew something's up with this. One, it wasn't that cold for you to actually get frostbite on both feet. And the injury was too symmetrical, right? Like if you do get frostbite, it's not going to be like you had your feet in a bucket. You're going to have shoe prints and sock marks, and it's going to be a little different. Geez. So he did do that. He also took out a bunch of insurance policies the day before.
Oh, what an idiot.
Yeah. So now he's been arrested, and so is his buddy, and he also got both feet amputated. They did that. They had to follow through because he was
I wouldn't
injured.
normally laugh
feet,
at
not legs,
somebody.
Right?
Feet below the calf.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, yes, I understand the distinction, but
well, she said legs at first.
He said legs.
Yes,
I meant okay. part of your leg and foot.
Not
So
that
you
it's
get-
much
But
better.
No.
This guy is an absolute idiot.
Right?
Correct.
And the fact that he let his buddy persuade him, because his buddy was going to get a big part of this payout because he just lost a whole bunch of money, I think, in
Why would
cryptocurrency.
you
I don't
pay
even know.
a penny to your buddy if you're the one sticking your feet on dry ice for 10 hours? That's got to be painful enough. And then
seriously.
you wake up and they're gone.
People are idiots.
Wow.
I don't know
And
that I've heard a.
Super gullible, I guess.
I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll have a dumber person, but I think that is currently
It's up there, right?
he's at the top of the
Yeah,
mountain.
yep. You guys, inflation has hit everything. You know, eggs, diapers, milk, rent,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
basically everything. But one thing that Americans are really struggling with having to pay more is the price at drive-throughs, right? Like when we go for fast food, we want
It's ridiculous.
to, you know,
The good old-fashioned dollar menu.
yeah, well, that doesn't exist
Long
anymore.
gone.
Right.
That doesn't exist. And so people are sharing prices they've paid at fast food restaurants and how much they're paying. There's one McDonald's in Orlando. People are amazed by what somebody paid for their breakfast. $13.50. You get your orange juice, sausage, and egg and cheese and hash browns for basically $14. There's another McDonald's in Connecticut that's going, viral, $18 for a Big Mac combo. Yikes. I was surprised. You know what I got recently? I went to Subway.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to their slogan, the $5
$5,
foot long.
yeah.
Yeah. No. It was, and I get a veggie sub, right? Like I am not getting, it's lettuce basically with some
Right,
tomatoes thrown
yes.
on there. And it was like $10. And I was like, take my money. I'm hungry, but this is crazy.
It is insane.
Yeah.
Sticker shock.
Yep.
Heather with the news. It's 97.1. We'll talk to Greg Campy next. You want to talk about madness, complete madness. Moran Chevrolet has mad deals going on right now. You can get a 2024 Silverado, $359 a month, 24-month lease, $999 down. And Silverado's perfect for hauling whatever you need, whether that's for work or the spring projects around the house. Moran has shipments arriving daily. That's important. That way when you show up, they're sure to have the vehicle you're looking for. Score the best deal at MoranExpress.com or on Gratiot north of 15 Mile in Clinton Township. That's Moran Chevrolet, MoranExpress.com, where you always get the best price, period. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Hey, if you're self-conscious about taking pictures, and especially since bathing suit season's coming up, boating season's coming up, summer beach season, you don't want to be in the front row because you're not happy with how you look, give Ideal You a call. IdealU.us is where you can find them. And you could be 40 pounds lighter in 40 days, 10 pounds in 10 days. And I can tell you it works because I went through the exact same process. So I'll picture myself, didn't like it, took action, and Ideal You is the company that helped me lose over 60 pounds. And I'm more than 2 years into it, about 2.5 years now. And I've been able to keep all of that weight off. I feel good. I'm confident in myself, and I don't mind being in pictures. So book your free consultation today. You're going to get a free body composition analysis. That's $150 value free. And here's what you're going to find out. You're going to find out all the stats that you really don't want to know, but you're going to be able to set your goals. You're going to find out how much body fat you have, how much muscle mass, bone mass, water weight, all of that stuff. And they're going to assign you a coach. You're going to put together a plan. And then they're going to be with you every step of the way until you reach your goal. Lose up to 40 pounds in 40 days and be happy taking those pictures again. Be happy putting that bathing suit on because spring has sprung. Book your free consultation right now at IdealU.us to get your free body composition analysis. That's $150 value free. That's IdealU.us.
got a lot of ground to make up before Carson Anderson. Doug said something yesterday. I was so proud of him, and then I was so disappointed. We've got some news. The Red Wings. They've recalled Simon Edvinsson.
All right.
News within the last 20 minutes here. Simon Edvinsson, the first-round pick, the blue line guy leading Grand Rapids, coming up to Detroit.
You asked, hey, Steve Yzerman said, we don't need to trade at the trade deadline. We've got what we need. It's just a matter of calling him up. And you said, well, then do it.
Do it.
So Steve Yzerman, he must be listening because he did it.
I think he's listening to me, but I think come on, this team is not good on defense. At least give him a shot to maybe stabilize some things. I don't know who the odd man out ends up being, whether it's, Petrie's on the second pair, but I think he might be the worst defenseman. Slide Sherrod over to the right side, put Evanson on the second pair? Probably not. They'll probably put him in on the third pair. And does that kick Gostisbehere out? Or does that kick Olli Mata out? Mata was not good in the last game. Maybe it's Olli Mata. We'll find out tonight against Columbus. Mel has a mock draft. Mel Kiper, ESPN mock. He's got the Lions selecting somebody. I don't believe he's had them picking. I don't think most mocks have had them going this direction. But it's the benefit of good free agency. Best player available? Let's go through it. Number 1 pick, Caleb Williams. Number 2 pick, Jaden Daniels. Number 3 pick, Drake May. 1, 2, 3, quarterbacks. The next 3 are all receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Roma Dunze. So 3 quarterbacks, 3 receivers, passing league.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, the Bears, after getting Keenan Allen, a lot of people had them taking a receiver. Instead, they go Jared Verse. The Minnesota Vikings, no trades in Mel's mock. He has J.J. McCarthy going 11 and Cooper DeJean with that second first-round pick at 23. You like Cooper DeJean?
I do. Those dogs. Yeah, Minnesota's going to take a corner in the first round. Yeah. That's what they do.
I like seemingly every year. Bo Nix, 12 to the Broncos. Highest we've seen him mocked.
It's a quarterback-thirsty league. And I know he's got JJ going to 11, Bo Nix going at 12. I don't think any of us really believe that they are top 10 talents, but I don't know that they get outside the top 10. I don't know if Bo Nix makes it that high up, but I know his pro day, he looked good in his shirts and skirts.
The next standout name is a name that you brought up earlier today, despite the fact that the Lions addressed the offensive line. Good move with Zeitler. It's a 1-year deal. He's 34. You said, hey, keep going offensive line, but Graham Barton goes 21 to the Dolphins.
Those dogs.
Probably to play center, right?
Yeah, or to replace Robert Hunt at guard.
Yeah, either one.
Until they need him at center.
I just know Connor Williams, the center, blew out his ACL. So you're right. It's position versatility. Chop Robinson, 27th in the draft, just before the Lions. Freaky pass rusher off the board.
Yeah, but I had 4 guys. I had JPJ as well as Zach. What's his name from West Virginia? Frazier. I always forget his last name. Zach Frazier. Both of those guys, as I'm scrolling through this, are available.
Undrafted in the first round. The Lions don't take either of them. They take a receiver. Xavier Legette. South Carolina receiver, ran a 4.39 40-yard dash, tested well in the other drills, 17 yards a catch, 1,200 receiving yards. Mel says dominated cornerbacks on crossing routes, lining up in the slot and outside. He would help keep improving Detroit's offense.
Here's what I like about him. He's a bigger receiver. He's 6'3", 230. And I think after you put him in the weight room for another year, he's probably going to be playing right around 235. The one thing that they don't have is that 50-50 guy. And we could say whatever we want about J-Mo, he's pure speed. This would give them that 50-50 guy in the red zone, throw it up, let him go get it, type of individual. I wouldn't be mad. And this is where we're sitting here talking about adding Zeitler in free agency, adding Reeder in free agency, adding to the secondary in free. They've addressed all their needs so they can take best available. It's going to be interesting from here on out, looking at all of the different players that are mocked to Detroit. Nobody's probably going to be right because you get less right as you get further down the board, but you can sit there and dream. What would a 6'3", 235-pound receiver look in this offense? What would a guard look adding to this offensive line? An edge rusher, a corner. That's the ability of the Lions fans right now to dream.
Legette listed at 6'3" in college, measured 6'1" at the combine. But I think the point is, a year ago, before Brad Holmes went running back and linebacker, we thought, well, there's only certain things. They're going to target any position that they think is the best player available, and it may end up being a wide receiver. Sorry to spoil any mock draft stuff that you guys have coming up, Gator.
I'm not listening to you.
Okay. You're not Doug, but
one of the things, and so this won't give it away. One of the things that frustrates me, and I don't know if this is a quirk of mine, but when you look and you say, okay, well, this player is listed at 6'3", and then at the combine they measure 6'1".
Right. Yeah.
That drives me crazy. Like you know it's going to come out.
Says the guy who was, a legit 6'7".
Right.
So, I mean, I know. I
get it.
Yes. Everybody inflates
but then
the numbers.
It's weight or it's their reps on the bench press. Like eventually you're going to have to prove it.
Yeah, I mean when you actually have, you're right. It's dumb. It is dumb, and it's always gone on. I actually did it in reverse in high school.
Oh, you said you were?
I said I was lighter than I was. Yeah,
it's I kind of
went on the program. They're like, wait, what on the program? I'm like 6'1", 225, and I was like closer to 240. But I was like, I don't want to be that fat.
Oh, I've seen some of those guys. Yeah, they show up and you're like, this dude's got to be 350 pounds, and on the program it says 299. Call it BS.
No chance. Looks better with the 2 to start it.
Yeah, a couple of biscuits over that.
Man. I don't weigh 3 bills. I weigh 299.
What are you talking about?
That's funny.
Doug,
but I get it.
Doug is in the studio now. And Gator, I was listening yesterday about 1:30, and Doug, I was so proud of him. He goes, I'm not backing Purdue this year.
Well,
we'll see.
This is, and right after I tell you, my oldest is going to be a Boilermaker.
Yeah.
You just don't like her?
No, I love her.
Congratulations.
It's awesome. And,
thank you.
My dad's a Purdue grad.
Oh.
I'm starting to rethink my Purdue position.
No.
Maybe I will.
Oh, you're regretting it?
No, I started filling out the bracket last night, and I just kept hitting Purdue, and I'm like,
what am I doing?
Here we go again.
No, but what got me is you were like,
same.
hey, I'm not going to back Painter. Instead, I'll back Rick Barnes in Tennessee. Doug, you're not learning.
Rick Barnes has been to a Final Four.
03, 21 years ago.
I didn't put a timestamp on it. You don't need to.
My point is a lot of early exits for him, too.
Do you fall into the same trap that I fall into is I fall in love with the Big Ten because I want the Big Ten
I'm very tempted, yeah.
Nebraska, especially Nebraska with Fred Hoiberg. I love. It's a good story. I want him to win. Wisconsin,
Casey Tominaga.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of fall into that trap, and then all of a sudden I've got 3 Big Ten teams in the Final Four. I'm like, wait a second here, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's rethink
and
this.
one of them's Michigan.
I have 3.
Yeah, it's amazing how they eked in.
How did that happen?
Yeah, last 16, last 75 out.
By the way, we did a mock draft. Mock drafts on our show are brought to you by Moran Chevrolet, where you always get the best price period. I assume
wait. You guys have mock draft sponsors?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Something's wrong.
How does that happen? We're going to talk about Kuiper. We also got a lot of other stuff, including the breaking news with the Red Wings that we need to discuss. So we're going to have a fun show. Ready to go.
All right, Carson Anderson next, 97.1.
So busy day here on Carson Anderson. Hope everybody's doing well. But I will start with asking you, Scott the Gator Anderson, how are you today?
Well, I think I'm going to be a lot better.
Do you?
Yeah. Right before I left the house, I got an email from the Detroit Red Wings organization. Red Wings recall Simon Edvinsson from Grand Rapids.
So, yeah, I mean, look, yesterday we talked about how he was back and healthy and in the lineup, so maybe something would happen. Didn't really foresee it happening within, before the next show, but it did, and we wake up to that news today. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm assuming he plays tonight against Columbus, and who better to start him against than the team with the fewest points in the, in the Eastern Conference. Maybe he'll get his feet under him at the this time up. He's been up before, but certainly for a team desperate for a playoff run, maybe there'll be an injection of life. We'll get into that today as the show goes on. Anything exciting on last night? I know the Pistons were on. I think you and I both probably had him on as well. I had him on as video wallpaper, just kind of up. I was working on my bracket, did some deep research.
Is that 3 in a row for you, Doug?
Three what in a row?
For the Pistons.
3 games in a row?
Oh,
it's 3
wins. 3 losses.
I
got to win 3.
It was 3 losses in a row.
Are you starting to gloat here a little bit late in the season?
Dude, I want them to win 3 in a row. At least 2 in a row so bad before the season ends at this point. One more
I think
time.
the perfect ending is that they have won 2 in a row going into the season finale. That would be the perfect ending for me. And it all comes down to the last game. But that's probably not going to happen. Still, it's been a fun little side bet in an otherwise miserable season. No Cade last night, and they lost at Boston. You don't say.
No Cade, no Asar Thompson, no Fontecchio, no Grimes, and then Beef Stew gets hurt, pulls a hammy.
Mm-hmm.
It's always awkward when a player goes and grabs the hammy. He wasn't quite grabbing the hammy. It looked like he was trying to, I'm going to have an accident, and trying to hold it in when he went to grab it. That's not a good look. But we all understand it's a hamstring injury.
I've never once interpreted somebody grabbing their hamstring as they've had an accident.
Did you see him? The way he grabbed it?
I will have to go look.
It wasn't full up. It didn't look like it was all the way on his hamstring. It looked like it was a little more towards the crevasse.
You thought he soiled himself.
No, I didn't think that because I didn't notice it. And then they come back from a commercial break and Johnny Kane's got and here's the update on Beef Stew. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, is he? No, it's a hammy. He's not gonna doo-doo on the court. He's gonna be okay.
No, that's good to know. And nice of you giving it the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
Good to know.
Anyway, so Pistons lose last night. Yeah, we got first 4 games tonight. Colorado State, Virginia game could be really interesting. In the meantime, continue to work on the bracket. I'm far from final here, Gator. And I last night really sat down. I think only having a Piston game on allowed me some time to really do the deep dive. And I mean, I'm by the time this is done, I will have looked at all 68 teams closely. Some more than others. I don't really need to go too deep on the 16s, but I'm looking for which upsets to pick, and I got a few in mind. But I also found some amazing facts, some March Madness facts.
Okay.
As I'm preparing for this, and I think one that will at least make you snicker. All right, we'll just go with that. I will promise that Gator will snicker today. And my favorite March Madness.
I'm in a good mood,
fact.
so
is it the Edmonton news puts you in a good mood?
It does. Well, I want to have a little something extra to watch tonight with the Red Wings game against Columbus, and getting Simon Edvinsson up here, yes, and also that I no longer have to. Well, we'll see once he takes the ice, but that it looks like I won't have to shoot the boot because I made the guarantee he'd be up on the roster by the end of the season.
Yes, you did.
So that makes me feel better too. It's slight side of relief. I don't mind doing the shoot the boot terribly, unless it's just a terrible prediction. Then I feel like a jackass. But I think he makes the team better. So I'm ready to snicker. I'm ready to laugh.
Well,
I'm ready to take a chance again, Doug.
In a season which has been lacking
in a season that's been lacking any kind of edge.
in a season that's been lacking any in-season move of significance. Like everything they did that impacted this team was in the offseason, and they didn't really make any move of significance during the year. This, we're hoping, checks a box of an in-season move of significance.
Stagnant like a toxic swamp.
Somewhat stagnant like a toxic swamp, one might say.
I understand.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah. So anyway, they've been reeling, not kind of reeling. They've been reeling, and sometimes it's just the injection of life, right? Here comes a kid, everybody's kind of reinvigorated, and we'll see if it makes an impact. The latest on Dylan Larkinizzi is not expected to play. But all of that pales in comparison to, I don't know, it's not the final piece to the offseason puzzle from Brad Holmes, but it's a pretty big effing move they made yesterday. As they go out and they get themselves a pretty good guard who almost in many ways is cast perfectly here in Detroit. For where he is in his career and what he is good at, it just is it's a bedrock foundation type move for a team that is trying to win a Super Bowl. And we will talk about the Lions edition of Kevin Zeitler straight ahead. 248-539-9797 is always the phone number. We've already talked Red Wings, Pistons, and Lions in the first segment, so we will open up the phone lines to anything you want to get to. Somebody did project their final Tiger roster, so maybe we'll go over that before. Maybe we'll go over that before the day is done. As you heard at the end of the morning show, there's Fresh Mel, which we get to play around with a little bit in our way, the way that we handle mock drafts. We'll get to that coming up as well. But maybe we even have a surprise that we will mix in. It's Carson Anderson, 248-539-9797. Stream the show with the Odyssey app. Download it for your mobile device today, AUDACY. Then you can listen to the show anywhere in the United States. Additionally, you can stream to our website, 971theticket.com, where Ev, I believe, has posted the champ and chump of the weekend as selected by you people. Doing a great job. And also stream with video. Go to twitch.tv. And there we are, myself and Gator and Kang on occasion. And same thing with YouTube, youtube.com. Search on 971 the ticket.
Am I spiky today?
The hair? No, you calmed it down, and I'm actually disappointed. It was something else yesterday. We actually, after the show at 2:00, we all ended up in the men's room and watched Gator look in the mirror and try
to beat it back into shape.
Yes.
What?
I said it. I'm not going to run from it. The hair, it was so spiky and alert.
At attention.
Yeah. Dare I say it was erect. The hair. It needed to be calmed down.
It needed frosted tips is what it needed.
That wasn't going to
Yep. My man was fellow kidsing. 248-539-9797. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 the ticket. Hey, spring forward and right into truck season at Sarah Chevrolet Sterling Heights. Hurry in now because as the #1 volume Chevy dealer in Michigan, Sarah Chevrolet Sterling Heights has a huge inventory of trucks for the choosing, like the legendary Silverado. Or if an SUV is more your style, Sarah Chevrolet Sterling Heights has all kinds of Equinoxes for you to select from. Whatever you decide, you can take it home today. Sarah Chevrolet Sterling Heights, where they guarantee the lowest price or it's free, 17.5. And Van Dyke and Sterling Heights, do what I did. Call 87-SAY-SARAH or go to saysarah.com. Together, let's drive. By the way, happy National Backyard Day.
Really?
Yeah. Let's go.
Did we celebrate that on March 19th?
Yeah, it seems a little odd, but it's probably a lot better down south.
As King points out, it is the first day of spring officially in like an hour.
Okay. Well, then make sure you get out in your backyard at some point today.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Why not?
We might need to talk about this before the show is done. The beauty, the brilliance of a perfect backyard.
Yeah.
You have a nice backyard. I like your backyard.
Thank you for noticing, Doug.
You've been doing squats, lunges?
I've been working at it a little bit.
Doug noticed.
Talking about the lawn behind your house, the fenced-in area that essentially serves as a running track for your dog.
It does serve a running track.
And a toilet.
Yeah. Well, it's nature's...
Look, and a feeding ground for birds with the pond.
Why you got to go there?
Actually, I'm not...
That hurts.
Didn't a tree collapse on your fence?
Yeah.
Actually, the more I think about it, your backyard's kind of messed up, man.
Unfortunately, the tree has been cleaned up from my backyard. What's unfortunate is that the phone company still hasn't come out and taken an old phone pole.
Hasn't done what?
They haven't removed the old phone pole. It was like a power line pole, right?
Okay.
But when DTE came out to fix the power situation because the tree came and fell right in the power lines, they simply reconnected new power lines to a new pole that they put in place, but they left the old one there. And when I saw that, I said, "So when are you guys taking this out?" And they're like, "Oh, that's not our job." I'm like, okay, well, whose job is it? We think the phone company. Okay, are they going to be? Yeah, I'm like, do they know about this? Yeah, they'll know. There was a report. Okay, and then Comcast came out a few days later, and they were reconnecting their power lines to the new power line pole. I said, great. What about this? Well, that's not us. Like, okay, who is it? He goes, I think it's a DTE thing. Well, DTE says it's a phone thing. Well, that sounds good. Right. So then about 2 weeks later, we had another like windstorm picked up, and I was a little nervous.
Yep.
And then I looked out my backyard and I saw that the old phone pole, if you will, came crashing into another part of the fence and damaged another panel in the fence. So it has all these old wires connected. It's a mess back there. There's an old wire. Old wires are still connected to it. I mean, it's not live, but yeah, they haven't come by.
Well, hopefully they will do that. All right. So
it would make my backyard much nicer.
The Lions sign Kevin Zeitler, guard from the Baltimore Ravens. The money is now out, by the way.
I did not see it.
So, Kang, I'm sorry. 1 year, $6 million. Is that what it is?
That's the reports. It's not officially from the Lions. But
there you go.
So circling back, Jonah Jackson went to the Rams for 3 years and $51 million, and the Lions signed a like player who might be better. I don't know that he is better, but he might be better in certain aspects of playing the position. And we also have to deal with his age. But they get him for 1 year, $6 million. This is his 13th year in the league. He has got a reputation as one of the better guards in the league. And last year was Pro Bowler. And he started 47 games in his 3 seasons in Baltimore. His strength is his ability to keep a quarterback clean. And they talk a lot about the 2 sacks last year and 574 pass reps with Baltimore. But keep in mind, he had the most mobile quarterback in the league behind him. So he might not have allowed a lot of sacks. I'm still efforting the QB pressures allowed, but that seems a little bit more relevant. But still, it's his strength, and the number of sacks could be indicative of what is a perceived strength when it comes to film study. Last year, he gave up 2 sacks, 4 penalties. Jonah Jackson gave up 2 sacks, 5 penalties. I'd say at worst, the offensive line has stayed the same. And in pass protection, it could be better. It could be better.
Might be slightly worse in run blocking and better. I'm not even going to say slightly better. Better in pass protection.
So Now he's older.
Yes.
It's a 1-year deal, which kind of fits where they're at. But out of the best free agents, I just looked up at the Athletics ranking of free agents. This is the highest ranked free agent that the Detroit Lions have signed. Kevin Zeitler.
Okay.
So this offseason, they have signed a defensive end. They have signed a defensive tackle.
And Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader.
They have acquired 2 cornerbacks, one via trade, one via free agency.
Carlton Davis and
Meek Robertson. They had 2 free agent guards. They re-signed one, and they basically repurposed another. They've got a guy that's very, very similar.
Glasgow and Zeitler.
Yep. I mean, the one position that they might have left to address is wide receiver.
Well, they brought DPJ back.
But they could go into next year with Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Khalif Raymond. I suspect that they won't. I suspect somebody else will. But if that's their trio and DPJ comes back, still pretty young in his career, I mean, they could play a football game tomorrow, everybody's saying, and they're right. I mean, the holes have been addressed. And look, I don't like to tell people what they should do or how they should feel about things. I tend to think that as sports fans, you can do whatever you want. But some of you owe Brad Holmes an apology. He has pieced this thing together nicely. He's addressed needs, and some of the freak out was completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Tell me they're not better at corner.
I think they're better at corner.
Tell me they're not better on the defensive line.
I think they're better than the defensive line.
Tell me they haven't kept the offensive line as a strength.
They have, but there are concerns that there might be cracks in the foundation. Because of the future longevity of Ragnow.
Okay.
You still have a Decker situation after this year, and the person that signed at guard has played right guard his whole career, and is he going to go left guard? They can move Glasgow to the left side. We don't know how that's going to work and how that's going to affect the effectiveness of the guard. But
they won't be surprised by that news.
Yeah,
they'll have a plan. Look, it's a very solid and not splashy offseason. But the goal is to get better as a football team. I think they're better as a football team. Now, there's still cap space and there's still all the draft picks.
Well, that's the thing. How much cap space is there that's not allocated to the rookie, draft pool? Because if they have a substantial amount of money left, you can still improve the roster. And then there will be people that will complain and say, well, you could have gotten this guy, because now you see numbers come out for all the free agents.
Right.
And this one may have been a better player. I'm not complaining at all. The Zeitler signing seems like it is straight out of central casting for Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes. He's a football player. Everybody loves this guy. He's a hard worker. I mean, there's video of him working on his pass protection while in the hospital room while his wife was in labor.
It's actually hilarious. It looks like he's wearing bowling shoes.
I think you could say he loves football.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. And, oh, by the way, he's a damn good pass blocker. So that's good to know. Play with a bunch of different organizations, and everybody raves about him. Okay, great. That's not going to complain about that. So there's a lot to like with what Brad Holmes has done, but going to wait to see all the dust settling on this, because there still could be some moves. I know a lot of people think that, hey, they're done. Wipe your hands clean. We're getting ready to go to work here. But I can't help but look at seeing more bargains. I talked all offseason about bargains. Is Zeitler a bargain at $6 million? Yeah, I think that's a bargain at $6 million. Can you go out and get another one? Do you feel good about it, or you want to go out and get Quandre Diggs, Stephon Gilmore?
I mean, they're at $27 million before this signing. Take another 6 off, 27.7. They're at 21.7. They've got money still to spend,
and it's a lot.
They might use some of that money in part of bonuses for their current guys that they are looking to re-sign. It might be earmarked for them, but they still can do a lot here. And I don't know that some people will ever get over that they would just build a football team different than Brad Holmes. and that is go for the splash signing.
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly spread the wealth across a number of positions just to get better across the board. He didn't go big, but that doesn't mean the football team's not better, which is the ultimate goal of the offseason.
And I bring up like Stephon Gilmore because let's say he can come in here for $6 million, $7 million for a 1-year deal. Because they signed Robertson to such a small deal, wasn't it 1 year and $2 million for Amik Robertson? You can't have enough corners on the team, right?
No.
So adding someone like Gilmore,
last year's a prime example of that, isn't
exactly.
it?
So if you were to go out there and throw a little bit of money at Stephon Gilmore, bring him to the fold, and it's just a name I'm bringing up, but you can add to that room, make it a better, even more improved secondary room, and you're not really sacrificing anything.
Amik Robertson's cap hits 2.85.
Not bad.
So, yep. 248-539-9797. What is next for the Detroit Lions, and how does this impact their draft approach? Well, we got a mock that we will get to today at 10:50 here on Carson Anderson on 97.1 The Ticket.
Well, here we are looking spring right in the face. And make sure you get your lawn ready to go to enjoy spring into summer and just be beautiful and green and lush. Call Natural Way Lawn and Tree Service where you get green and stay green with Natural Way. 888-GET-GREEN is the telephone number. And for a limited time, you purchase that full lawn program and you get free grub control. But you've got to mention my name, Gator, and 97.1 The Ticket. Here's what you want to do. Call them right now. Get on the schedule early. And if you want to get green and stay green and save some green, do that by prepaying. And call by the end of the month. You get that early bird discount. And that's just great. And the Natural Way's offer for the season is absolutely fantastic. Again, it includes the free grub control. You're gonna want that. You're also gonna want to make sure that you don't see crabgrass, because by the time you see crabgrass, it's too late. This is why you got to schedule early. Take care of it right now. Easier to prevent a problem than it is to fix one. Natural Way has been a locally owned company for over 30 years. It's a company I've been trusting for almost a dozen years with my lawn. They offer the 100% satisfaction guarantee. Give them a call today. 888-GET-GREEN, or visit naturalwaylawn.com for all of your lawn care needs.
Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 A Ticket, Kangs Behind the Glass. Get to your feedback coming in right now. Got a mock that we will touch on. See what the Lions do. Post-free agency. That today at 10:50. I'm throwing you a little curveball. Actually, that's a screwball. I don't know why I did that. Screwball. Actually, curveball's more this way.
Yeah, curves a snap.
Yeah, and I went Fernando
Valenzuela. You zigged one.
Yeah, I did, totally. Before we get back to your phone calls and feedback, Kang, what do you make of the Kevin Zeitler signing?
So you know how you felt about the DJ Reader signing, and you were just loved it.
Yep,
Absolutely loved it. That's how I feel about this signing.
Shouty caps, yeah, very much.
This the only thing to me, the reason why the Lions were so good last year is because Jared Goff, and the reason Jared Goff was so good was because of that offensive line. So going into this offseason, worried about losing the two guards, I was very concerned about how that would affect Jared Goff and the Lions, because I think that's the complete reason why they did so well. Of course, there's other things that factor into it, but I think that was the biggest reason. The fact that they brought back Glasgow and Jonah Jackson was just priced too far out of their range. They took care of one position at guard, but the other was still, I wasn't as confident with those backups as they had. But I am not at practice. I don't see how they develop. I didn't know their confidence in those guys. This signing, I'm back on board. I love the fact that they shored up the middle of the offensive line. We already know the two tackles are great. Ragnow, when healthy, as long as he stays healthy, knock on wood, one of the best centers in the league. This is what makes the Lions go. Great signing, 1-year deal. This also opens up the draft. They can still draft an offensive lineman. They can still draft a guard to draft, develop, re-sign. That's their motto, right? They can still do that, and they don't have to force a young player into a starting role. I love this signing.
It feels like they've licensed themselves to do virtually anything in the draft. They are going to parade out a better football team, and they haven't even spent all the cap money and haven't drafted anybody yet.
They could go out and play the NFC Championship game tomorrow.
And win it.
Yes, that's important.
Maybe the most important thing.
All right, feedback coming in here. The Lions are better if the guys stay healthy. Zeitler, Mosley, Davis, Davenport, and Reeder all ended the season's hurt. So I spent a lot of time in that space worrying about injuries and signing injured guys. And the more I thought about it and started looking at guys that were signing elsewhere that were also hurt, you've either been hurt or you're going to get hurt. The spending a ton of time worrying about it, you do draw a line somewhere when it comes to injuries, but the reality is people are going to get hurt. And that's why the Lions' emphasis on depth is so important. Like, they might see Owasika or Sorsdahl as starting caliber players, but if they're in backup roles, even better. They're going out and bringing back Emmanuel Mosley and signing Amik Robertson and trading for Carlton Davis. They still have Cam Sutton. Like, they're doubling down. The two of everything. And the idea that they're trying as best you can to do the impossible, which is injury-proof your football team. But yeah, sure, guys have had injuries, but you either were hurt or going to get hurt.
It looks to me like what they have done with these signings is they've set themselves up where when they get to the trade deadline halfway through the season, that they've cleared up enough cap space where they can make a move and they won't be afraid to, because they can go ahead and make a splash move. It won't disrupt what they have on the payroll. And I think that's what people are waiting for. There were all the complaints last year that they didn't do anything at the deadline. Should they have done? We've debated that back and forth. Any move they would have made, I don't know if it would have made too much of an impact on the NFC Championship game. The mistakes were made by the players on the field that you didn't expect those kind of mistakes, and they happened. But they're in a position with this space that they can really go out there and still get a player. And maybe a trade happens before the season begins. That can take place as well, or before the draft. See moves done on draft night all the time. So they've set themselves up where they have done both. They still have a bunch of space, and they've improved the team. The team is better today than what they were in the NFC Championship game. I don't think there's a question about that.
From an unnamed texter, with Brad Holmes seemingly filling every hole in free agency to a degree, I think he's setting up the draft to possibly move up to the middle of the first for a possible premier pass rusher like a Chop Robinson. Well. Yep. I think the idea of moving up is really in play because you don't have all kinds of needs. You still have needs, and you still want to replenish the roster because when you're drafting, you aren't just thinking about 2024. You're thinking about 2025, 2026. I can still see them going interior offensive line or offensive tackle. So eventually when Decker's done, when Ragnow's done, draft a guy that's going to be ready. I mean, Zinter in a middle round is becoming, that move right there. Gator's been on the Zinter bandwagon, middle round Zinter forever. He's a mid-round Zinter guy, and now you even got more reason to do it.
Yeah, although every mock draft I've looked at, I haven't looked at a ton of them this year, but ones I look at, he seems to be going higher and higher than that makes me feel comfortable. But yes, that's a guy I look at absolutely, and I'm thinking long term with him.
Daver writes it. Daver.
Yeah. Paver with a D.
It's like his name's a verb. Anyway, he's not just Dave. He's Dave. There's one Davering.
He's Daving it up.
Yeah, he's as Dave as Dave can be. He's Daver. He'll play through a hangnail injury where Jackson was out for weeks.
All right, that's not fair. Not fair at all.
No, but this guy has played in, 47 games in his 3 years with the Ravens, all playing at a high level at the guard spot.
Yeah, he has not missed too many games in his career. I think he's, on average, played 15 games a season throughout his career, and he's played for 13 years. Pretty good.
And if you're wondering, all right, what are they getting in terms of quality of player, which is a huge question. Kevin Zeitler ranks 31st on the free agency rankings on The Athletic. Jonah Jackson ranked 49th. So they just went out, let me make sure I have this right, spent less money, significantly less money, and potentially got better at the position.
Yeah, but it's a window of opportunity here. This is 1 year.
Yeah, it is 1 year, and Jonah's younger, so. 248-539-9797. We're getting some feedback regarding the telephone pole that has fallen in your backyard, and you...
Well, it's crashed into my fence, so technically it's not in my... the base of the pole is still in somebody else's yard.
Yep. And you were
Which is also up for debate of whose yard that is. In my mind, I haven't talked to my neighbors yet to figure out whose yard is this in, because it's like right in the corner. It's right on the border.
From an unnamed texter, that pole is never leaving, Gator. Sorry, it's owned by a defunct Bell South, out of business. They ain't coming. How would they know who it's owned by?
Well, because it's an old telephone pole.
Do we know who owns all the old telephone poles?
I think maybe so.
I don't know if that texter is true or not, because we got another text right now that says DTE owns that telephone pole. But
DTE was definitely shunning responsibility from moment one. Nope, we're just up here to reconnect the power. I'm like, I get it. I'm not complaining. I know that's priority, and I've been out of my house for 5 days now, so I get it.
Unnamed texter. Oh, Gator, that won't be removed for years. Sorry.
Really, all I care about at this point, I care about the lines that are attached to it. Like, how are those supposed to be disposed of? And
there's still stuff attached to it.
Yeah, but they're not live, obviously.
I know,
but yes, yeah.
I mean that's DTE's, right?
I would think. Just get rid of the power lines. I get the pole's there.
Yeah.
Now the pole is falling onto my fence and ruined that one panel on the fence. Okay, look, that's easy enough because it's already fallen over. Just got to tip it back to a side, and then you can cut it up into pieces and get rid of it. I got it. That can be had, and it may be had in the next few weeks, the way that my neighbor is starting to clean up his yard. So, and I'm not complaining about him at all. He's awesome. But the fact that thing is there and that everybody is pointing fingers at the other person when it comes to corporations and companies and not the people who actually own the property.
Well, I think you should keep calling.
I should at least call. I haven't made any call yet.
Got an update on Dylan Larkin and a mock draft to get to. We will do the update at 10:46 here on Carson Anderson on 97.1. Hey, it's college basketball, and Twin Peaks should be your only destination to catch all the action this week. Get your brackets filled out and cheer on your picks all week long at your favorite lodge, starting tonight and tomorrow night, playing games, college basketball all week. If you've been to Twin Peaks before, you know how awesome the game day experience is. And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? The recipe for success starts with the beautiful Twin Peaks girls. Enjoy the hospitality, the coldest beer in town, the Scratch Kitchen, and all the food you crave. All week long, they have ice-cold 29-degree tall Bud Lights for just $5. Now pair that with their always hand-breaded, cooked-to-order boneless wings, smoked barbecue ribs, or hand-cut New York strip steaks, and you're on another planet. Take advantage of the awesome happy hour specials, too. They even run it late night. So excited that the tournament is underway, and we'll be broadcasting from there Thursday morning to kick off the college basketball tournament. Visit the broadcast live at the Madison Heights location starting at 10 a.m. The girls will be opening the doors early, ready to raffle off prizes and swag. Come see for yourself why it's the best place to enjoy all the Cinderella stories, slam dunks, and buzzer beaters. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views. Doug Karsh, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. It is the Karsh and Anderson radio program. Update from the morning skate. Daniela Bruce, reporter for a variety of outlets, including our broadcasts, tweets out, Larkin is on the ice for the skate this morning. Doesn't look like a full participant, but definitely getting more work in than we saw last week. So, a little bit more for Dylan Larkin. The quote from Derek Lalonde, the head coach: I would not expect him probably as early as Tuesday, but we'll get a better feel after that off day on Monday. That was the latest Lalonde had to say on him. So I don't think it doesn't sound like he's going to play tonight. I would expect him to be full go at a morning skate and doing everything that everybody else was, but that doesn't sound like it's the case. So
no, it doesn't. Ansar Khan has tweeted out the lines that he's watching in practice, and Larkin not part of that. Rasmussen has not been skating, and neither is Wallman this morning, and it looks like we're going to have Reimer in net tonight.
Okay.
Edvinson is skating with Petrie.
Yeah.
That's a big pairing right there.
You know, a incredibly wise coach, a man that I look up to and respect a lot, once said the following: y'all better win a game.
Yeah.
And tonight is a y'all better win a game. And that coach was your ninth grade football coach.
That's right.
Coach George Bard, who also went by his African name, Coach Muta Shamaka.
You have a great memory.
Yes. I can't forget. Hey, when George Bard speaks, Doug Karsh listens. Y'all better win a game.
Y'all better win a game.
Yeah.
Small piece of leather, but I'm well put together.
All right. Are you ready, my friend?
I am ready. Why? Whoa!
Curveball. Daniel Jeremiah, Mach 3.0 with trades.
I'm here for it.
I know everybody is jonesing over the fresh Mal.
I haven't looked at the fresh Mel. I haven't looked at the Daniel Jeremiah either. I saw that it was there, but I didn't look at it.
We're going fresh DJ.
All right.
Now, the way this works is we work our way through the draft, all the way down to Lions position. When we get to the Lions position, we tell you who is still on the board. One of the names we give you is still the pick. We ask you what you would do.
DJ's the guy on NFL.com who does the combine in studio with Rich Eisen?
Yes, he worked in front offices.
Younger-looking guy?
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good.
I trust him.
Again, this is with trades. First pick, Chicago Bears go Caleb Williams.
They didn't trade Justin Fields?
No. At 2, the Washington Commanders go Drake May, quarterback, North Carolina.
Mistake.
At 3, the New England Patriots go Jaden Daniels, quarterback, LSU.
Great pick.
At 4, we have a trade.
No way.
Yep.
I'm going to guess the Vikings have traded with the Cardinals.
The Minnesota Vikings have traded with the Arizona Cardinals. And at 4, the Minnesota Vikings select J.J. McCarthy, quarterback, Michigan.
Okay.
At 5, we have a trade.
Oh, 5 is the Chargers.
Yeah.
So somebody trying to get, I don't know, what do you, somebody want Marvin Harrison Jr.
The Jets have moved up from 10 to 5.
The answer is yes. Somebody wants Marvin Harrison Jr.
And have selected Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State.
Jets moved from where?
10.
From 10 to 5. It doesn't say what the trade is it? Like what it takes
it
to
does
move
not.
up? Okay.
It just says
Fair enough.
extra picks.
Okay.
At 6, the Giants select Malik Neighbors, wide receiver, LSU.
I think he's going to be great.
We are not going to do all the picks. We are just going to tell you ones that are relevant to Detroit or local, might have local interest the rest of the way here.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Just based on a track record recently of LSU wide receivers, do you automatically give Malik Neighbors some more gas because he's LSU?
No.
I do. Kang, do you?
I don't want to, but it seems
I
like
mean, you kinda,
no, because you got to go the other way too. Then if it's like, well, they never produced a quarterback,
you never take it. It would have passed on C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, so you can't do that. But I understand what you're thinking.
He had a hell of a season too. He's a really good receiver.
At 8, the Falcons take Dallas Turner, edge rusher, Bama. At 11, the Cardinals, who traded back, select Jared Verse, edge rusher, Florida State.
He gone.
Denver at 12 takes Brock Bowers, tight end, Georgia.
Get ready for a run on corners.
At 13, the Vegas Raiders select Michael Penix Jr., quarterback, Washington.
Okay. I like him. I don't know if would have taking him there. You could maybe trade back and get him. But
At 15, the Indianapolis Colts select Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback.
Is that
Toledo.
the first corner taken?
Yes.
Ahead of Terry and Arnold.
At 17,
There he goes.
the Jacksonville Jaguars select Terrion Arnold, cornerback, Alabama.
Okay. All right.
Again, other picks of interest, either local or impact the Lions. At 19, the LA Rams select Leatu Latu, edge rusher, UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
At 21, the Miami Dolphins select Graham Barton, interior offensive lineman, Duke.
Okay. All right.
At 22, the Philadelphia Eagles select Nate Wiggins, cornerback, Clemson.
Okay. All right. Still we got what? Lions pick at 29?
Yep.
I got 7 to go. Come on. Stay in the game. Stay in the
Cardinals at 23 take Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, LSU.
game. Okay.
That is a trade with Minnesota.
Yeah, they know LSU receivers.
At 24, the Dallas Cowboys select Jackson Powers Johnson, interior offensive lineman.
Damn it.
Oregon.
That's becoming one of my favorites.
At 26, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take Darius Robinson, edge rusher, Missouri.
Darius Robinson, not Chop.
Yeah.
So Darius goes, the Detroit product.
At 27, the Arizona Cardinals select Byron Murphy, defensive tackle,
Okay.
Texas.
Get on out. Here you go. Here's the one that can
Is there
really
somebody,
make or break us here.
you're eyeing here?
Well, I just know there's some names, and I'm just
At 28, the Buffalo Bills select Johnny Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois.
okay.
So if this scenario plays itself out,
I like this scenario.
here's who's still on the board.
Yes. Tell us, Doug.
And I will tell you that one of these players is the pick.
Okay.
Interior offensive lineman Zach Frazier, West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wide receivers Xavier Worthy, Texas.
Fastest man in the draft.
Defensive end Chop Robinson, Penn
There
State.
you go. Chop.
Defensive tackle Braden Fisk, Florida State.
Big combine.
And corners Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alabama, and Cooper DeJean, Iowa.
That's a lot to choose from, Doug.
It is a lot to choose from. Now, I don't foresee, and we can talk about if this scenario plays itself out, I don't see anybody trading up for Bo Nix. You can tell Gator really likes this mock draft.
A lot there, man.
He really likes this mock draft.
Woo!
His pick is going to be all of them.
Yes. I'll take 3.
All right, so what do? Do you take Zach Frazier? You take Xavier Worthy? You take Chop Robinson? You take Braden Fisk? You take Kool-Aid McKinstry? You take Cooper DeJean? Gator, I want you to think about it. Kang, I want you to think about it. And we want to take a whole bunch of texts right now at 248-539-9797. If this plays itself out, who do you take with the pick? And we'll tell you who the pick is coming up today at 11:10.
I'm not even in the shower. I'm going to be thinking about this.
You like this scenario, huh?
Yeah, there's several players I really like.
Yeah.
I mean, all the names you mentioned are quality names.
I mean, look, trading back certainly could be in play, but we are at a point where
Had Bo Nix been taken yet?
No, he hasn't. I'm not sure anybody moves into the first round to take Bo Nix, but I mean, with the Giants, they didn't get a quarterback here.
They could.
So they could be after Bo Nix. And if it aggravates the angry Italian, I'm all for it. 248-539-9797. Well, what do you do in this scenario? Who do you take? We'll read some of your selections. King will get yours. Gator will get yours. And we'll tell you who the pick is today at 11:10 here on Carson Anderson on 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Wendy's. The NFL says that fans can now register for free tickets to next month's NFL draft in Detroit. You can request up to 5 kids to get into the event as well. To do so, you would go to NFL.com/draft access. A new mock draft from Mel Kiper of ESPN following free agency. He now has the Lions going wide receiver after filling holes in the secondary. Wide receiver Xavier Legette of South Carolina slotted at number 29. And the NFL and Netflix are following up their hit show Quarterback with one called Receiver. Lions star Amon-Ra St. Brown will be one of 5 players featured in the upcoming series, which will follow their lives on and off the field from this past year. The Red Wings are desperate for wins after splitting their weekend doubleheader. They'll host the Blue Jackets tonight at the LCA downtown. The team did finally make a big call-up. They're adding defenseman Simon Edvinsson from the Griffins, their 6th overall pick in 2021's draft. Currently, Detroit sits 1 game behind the Capitals for second wildcard slot. With 14 games to go, Dylan Larkin, who has been out, is on the ice but not a part of the rotations at morning skate. Also, Andrew Kopp explained what they need to clean up after that loss on Sunday. Well, the puck will drop just after 7 o'clock against Columbus, who are last in the Eastern Conference. You can hear the action right here on 97.1. From the Corewell Health Sports Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
All right, good to be with you here on a Tuesday. We're working our way through Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft. And it's with trades, and we've told you who's available. To your offensive lineman, Zach Frazier, wide receiver, Xavier Worthy from Texas, Chop Robinson, defensive end from Penn State, Braden Fisk, defensive tackle from Florida State, and Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback from Alabama. Waiting to get your picks as they come in. Here we go. We'll tell you who the people tag, and then Gator, you and Kang will give your picks, and then we'll tell you who the actual pick is. From an unnamed texter, I'm going Kool-Aid there. There are plenty of other defensive end and D tackles I like in this draft that they can get later. Top cornerbacks are hard to find. Another one here from Rich. Chop. Get him and be the bookend with Hutch, especially with the free agents we picked up on offense and defense. Great show. Thank you. Unnamed texter, definitely Cooper DeJean. Looks like a lockdown corner. Let's get that position solid for the next few years. Greg writes in, Cooper DeJean, Iowa Hawkeyes have worked out well for us. Will writes in, the perfect pick is Cooper DeJean. I never thought he'd be available. It's a no-brainer. Mark in a green and white truck says, we must go Chop. Nick in Westland says, DeJean. Dave and Troy says, in this scenario, I take DeJean as the cornerback drop. The cornerback drop-off is the most of the positions listed. Tyler, a cop in Southfield, says, Bama's secondary has done us great in the past, and this pick wouldn't change that. Kool-Aid or bust.
Well, outside of Brian Branch, who of the Lions had in the secondary from Alabama?
Was Jerry Jacobs? He was Arkansas, wasn't he? I think he was Arkansas. Might be it.
Well, I will say this. I don't mean to.
It doesn't matter.
I'm trying to sidetrack it. The thing is there already built-in chemistry because of Brian Branch? If you were to add Kool-Aid McKinstry, that's something to consider.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not sure that a guy. Maybe I don't know. That's much to consider, but sure. And I mean, you can get a personal scouting report from Brian Branch, although I'm sure they don't need to lean on just him, but he'd be there to tell them anything they need to know that he might be able to share.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you're looking at the corner position, you got Iowa and Alabama, and you've got plenty of Iowa on the team to talk to about their former teammate, and obviously with Brian Branch regarding Kool-Aid. I mean, to me, it comes down to 3 names.
In this scenario.
Yeah.
And it is. Those 3 names are?
I'm torn between the 2 corners and Chop.
Yep.
I mean, if Chop's name was simply, David Robinson. I don't know why I picked David. How about Daver? If he was Daver Robinson. I'd still be interested, but not as interested. His nickname is Chop, man. I love it. Oh, he was a really good college player. He could be dominant at times, and there's a lot to like there. That being said, they went out and got Marcus Davenport. I'm still hopeful that James Houston's the guy. Well, only got one first-round pick here. Which am I going to get more bang for? I'm still torn, but you're asking me to do it, Doug. I'm going to go Cooper DeJean.
The pick is in, huh?
Or DeJean. Is it DeJean or
DeJean?
DeJean?
It's DeJean. Lions take Cooper DeJean if Gators a GM. Kang, what about you? Pick in?
So I actually love the corners available, but I'm trying to win this very next season, and those cornerbacks probably aren't going to break my starting lineup. So I don't want anything to do with those corners because guess what? There's going to be another bunch of corners next year and the year after that. So that's my reasoning. I got to go defensive end. I got to go someone with a player who can help impact this team right away because the window, I know everyone wants sustainability and all this stuff, but you just never know. Ask all the teams that never went back or couldn't win it. The window is now for the Lions. So I'm going defensive end. I didn't hear you mention the name Braylon Trice because he was another defensive end I was looking at too, Doug. In the end, I did go with Chop Robinson.
Okay.
I just believe his ceiling to get to the quarterback, even if he's a one-trick pony his very first year, I need someone to pair up with Aiden Hutchinson on the other side and just cause some havoc, put some pressure on the quarterback, whether it's James Houston or Pascal, whoever. I need to load up on that area. I don't think Davenport's that. I don't see it from Davenport. I think he's just more of a adept veteran type guy. I want Chop Robinson.
I'd say King makes a very compelling argument.
Yeah, I got pick is in. I'm going Chop Robinson, Penn State. I mean, that's to me. His quickness, he was explosive. I think he's everything you want in a speed edge rusher. I think he's basically a better version of James Houston. He's going to have to put on some weight, but a lot of rookies that's the case. He's like 250. So at the end of the day, we got two Chops and a Cooper. Daniel Jeremiah, though, who ran the draft, the pick is in. And with the 29th pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback, Alabama.
I ain't mad at it.
And he writes, this was a tough call for me, deciding between McKinstry and Penn State edge rusher Chop Robinson. The Lions are going to end up with a talented outside cornerback to pair with his former Alabama teammate, slot corner Brian Branch. So there you go. Kool-Aid McKinstry. No, I did not say the name Braylon Trice. Would you prefer Braylon Trice to Chop Robinson?
No, but I was looking. I told you my reasoning. I kind of geared away from the cornerback, so I'm looking at what defensive ends are available. And Trice is someone that's on my board. In the end, he's not athletic enough. He doesn't have the tangibles that Chop Robinson has, and that's what I want. I want a guy to get to the quarterback, and I think Chop's just better suited for that.
Can I change my thing?
You want to go Chop now?
I like Kang's explanation as to why it's Chop. I mean, yours is all about the player, and this is what he is. I got it. And mine was kind of about the player, too. Kang was strategically involved there because the player is great, right? But it's a player that can contribute right away. Not that Cooper DeJean wouldn't or Kool-Aid McKinstry wouldn't, but you'd feel pretty strongly about Chop Robinson coming right in and being a guy at the other end.
Yeah, look, this out of all the mock drafts we've done, this one is my favorite scenario for the Lions because there's so much to choose from here that I'd be ecstatic with. Now, could they do something we don't expect? Yeah, but I want to round out the first round here with the rest of the picks because it's really interesting.
Let me just ask you this real quick, both of you. Would you be disappointed if the scenario is there and the Lions ended up with Cooper DeJean or Kool-Aid McKinstry?
Not particularly disappointed.
No, I really like both those players.
Okay.
I do. I just hear what comes to is opportunity. So they draft those guys, and they're already, 4th or 5th on the depth chart? I don't know if they see the field. DeJean might because he can return kicks.
Yeah.
But
I guess I'd be sitting back going, hey, whatever you want to do, I'm curious as to why he would do it between those three players, if those are the three he's choosing from, and just kind of enjoying the moment because I like all three.
Another player I didn't mention that was still on the board is Kamari Lassiter, the cornerback from Georgia. So
like him a lot, too.
So we're looking at
There's a lot of cornerbacks.
An abundance of quality players. But so Lions take Kool-Aid McKinstry. The next pick, the Baltimore Ravens take Cooper DeJean, cornerback, Iowa. At 31, the Niners go Chop Robinson, edge rusher, Penn State. At 32, Kansas City goes Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver.
Yeah, now I really want Chop Robinson because I don't need San Francisco to be, dropping guys like Eric Armstead and picking up his replacement who can hit the ground running and be as good.
But you know what's interesting is a name I'm not seeing as much anymore that we saw a lot was Rakestraw, the corner from Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Early in this process, I felt like his name was coming up a lot, and now it's not as much. So I don't know. It's like we said, trading back would be great. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But the one caller said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if they traded up. What if I told you, considering that they filled all of these holes that they needed to in the offseason and free agency, what if we found out they traded up 12, 14 spots and took Quinyon Mitchell?
I mean, I don't have a problem with that because, I'm a big fan of his. But the name I thought you were going to bring up was the offensive lineman. Was it Jackson
Powers Johnson?
Yeah.
I will tell you another name I think they should be eyeing trading up is Jared Verse.
Yes, but he's a name that's shooting up the mock drafts. He used to be, you could see him in the late teens, early 20s.
Yep.
Now he's like top 15 easy.
248-539-9797. We'll get to your phone calls and feedback coming up. Also, we are getting unprecedented love. And we'll touch on that at 11:17. Here on Carson Anderson on 97.1, The Ticket. From upsets to buzzer beaters, nothing compares to college basketball in March. But sometimes you're on the wrong end of those moments. That's why FanDuel is giving everyone a no-sweat bet from now until March 20th. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You get bonus bets back if your bet doesn't win. You can even use your no-sweat bet on a college basketball parlay. If you're looking for upsets, teams that I like to maybe make a deep run here, I'm eyeing UAB, Drake, just to name a couple. But download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. If you don't already have it, go into FanDuel.com/Doug. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Must be 21 or older and present in Michigan. Refund issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Maximum refund is $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help. Okay, so we've got a new TV show coming out that dominated our Twitter timeline for about 15 minutes there, where like every tweet was announcing that Netflix is coming out with a new behind-the-scenes sports documentary.
Are you sure about this? Is this on the Twitter feed?
It really is.
Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't.
And there it is, and there it is, and there it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, Netflix is coming out with a new TV show called Receiver. Now, last year, there was a show called Quarterback. And I think it was done by Omaha Productions. I think it was a Peyton Manning, one of his deals.
I think you're right.
And it was Kirk Cousins, which is why I referenced the fire pit and the awesome backyard he had on National Backyard Day. Here's saluting one of my favorite backyards I've ever seen. That thing looked it's just perfect setting.
Imagine what it's going to be like in Atlanta now.
Yeah, Atlanta. So what I like, I mean, if you want to know the truth, I like the tall trees, but tall like Atlanta, Georgia pines. That could be pretty sweet there. Yeah. Anyway, it was Cousins. It was Marcus Mariota, and it was what's that one guy's? Patrick Mahomes. So we got a lot of Brittany. Got a lot of Brittany. But it's one of those behind the scenes in the home kind of deals. And this year, Amon-Ra is being featured in Receiver. Now, I don't know if they're doing quarterback again. I think they probably are.
I want to say they tried to do it, but nobody wanted to do it.
I thought Stafford was going to be in the next quarterback. Like they announced them too, maybe. I haven't, probably could check that real quick.
Yeah.
They had our time the first time, I think. Or the second time, you're right, Gator. It was one of the people were shying away.
Yeah, like I think he wanted Goff to do it, and he's like, yeah, that's not happening.
Well, I mean, it is an invasion of privacy.
Well, I mean, it's a distraction if you let it be. And if you choose it, I just don't want to deal with it. That's fine. I don't begrudge anybody. Now, as a viewer, I found it to be quite entertaining.
It was really entertaining.
Yeah.
I think, look.
And it got a little weird with the Mariota situation.
Yeah, because he got benched. Well, here are the receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Adams. It was all taped this year.
Well, Kittle's not a receiver. He shouldn't be there.
He does receive the football.
He's a tight end. His teammates on there. What is he doing there?
Yeah, it's true. They got two
all this San Fran love. It's nauseating.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson could be interesting. You say it gets a little uncomfortable.
Oh,
His
yeah.
off the field baby mama drama. You think that comes out?
I wasn't even thinking of that. I was just thinking of all the drama with who's his quarterback. He's in a contract year.
Well, this comes out this summer, so it's
already
been taped, I guess.
Okay, my bad.
Yep.
So
it's okay.
So that will be interesting.
Says it's set to premiere the summer of 2024. So Amon-Ra, Kittle, and Deebo will all be in that NFC title game. I'm sure there'll be a lot of behind the scenes stuff like that. I mean, if you like sports, I find almost all these documentaries to be good. It's how I got into Formula One racing. And I don't know if there's a lot of people out there like me. I had no knowledge, none whatsoever. And because of the Netflix documentary Drive to Survive, I now follow Formula One racing. That's where my interest started, was watching the documentary. It was really cool. And now I know way more than I ever imagined about Formula One racing, which you find amusing.
I do find it amusing, but I get it. I mean, you get into some TV show, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm totally into zombie hunting now. Kidding. By the way, I've not watched one episode yet of the latest Walking Dead, which now is Rick and Michonne.
Oh, really? Rick's back?
I've recorded them, and I haven't watched a single one. There's like 4 episodes or 5 episodes in. Haven't watched them yet. The Daryl Dixon ones, I have them all. I've recorded them all. Haven't watched a single one of them. I think I'm done with it. I think I'm finally done.
Wow.
What happened to you, man? You changed, bro.
Well, listen.
I'm not sure it's him that changed.
Yeah, when you're You guys had a problem with Glenn surviving underneath the dumpster?
Well, that was an eye roll moment where they lost me with the Negan storyline. It seemed never ending, and they had a million chances. They're standing there with guns talking to him. Just shoot the MFer, and they never did. And I was like, okay, this is getting stupid.
Yeah, well, when Rick is impaled on like a fence after a bridge blows up, he's literally impaled.
Yeah.
And there's like rebar sticking out of him or whatever. Somehow he survives that.
Yeah.
Forget it.
In a world with no medical supplies. Yeah. Receiver is indeed an Omaha production. And so it's the same group that did quarterback last year is doing receiver. Amon-Ra, man, this is going to be fun. This is another example of, hey, we're relevant. Which at some point we might stop pointing out that we are being treated like a real NFL franchise. But it's another example of being treated like a real NFL franchise.
Well, I'm going to enjoy this because of, I think we're all going to enjoy watching our guy perform here because we saw the season last year. There were moments where he had monster receptions. And if he's mic'd up the whole time, getting his reaction to that.
The one to seal the Rams game?
Yeah.
That's going to be that's going to be fun.
You know, just the reaction of everything that went on during the season. And it was just a magical year. So I'm really looking forward to it.
But, you know, there's a whole Jugs gun thing. When we were out at Allen Park, we did the show, and the place emptied out, and there he is out there with the Jugs gun. Thump, 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 just catching ball after ball after ball.
So it's the two guys in San Fran, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and who's the other one? I don't know if they'll be able to find another tweet that'll let us know who else is involved with this. Oh, wait, here's one. Devontae Adams.
Are they going to show that sweet Taco Bell in his house?
That's awesome.
Dude, because I'll watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just wake up.
Get the nacho fries.
Yeah. Whatever.
Advertising's working.
Yeah.
What advertising? What? Like there, and we had a new window. And
if you haven't seen the TV commercials, the line of commercials, it's
pretty good.
Puts a Taco Bell in his house.
It's part of his deal.
It's not a bad deal. Taco Bell. I mean, in a pinch, Taco Bell, right?
Doug, let me talk to Doug real quick, Gator. If Gator had a Taco Bell at his house,
yep,
how many times do you think he would eat there a day or a week? Let's go with a week. How many times in a week would Gator eat at that Taco Bell or get something from the Taco Bell in his house?
30.
Keep in mind that
over 4 times a day?
I get Taco Bell like once every 2 months.
That's because you got to leave your house. This is
right.
there.
I was just trying to put it in perspective. So once every 2 months. Let's say you get Taco Bell. Let's go 10 times a year.
But you don't have one in your house.
No.
That's Mega Millions winnings. That's on our list of questions.
Now, is that
today.
somebody else just making my order too, Kang? Is that like
Yes.
I wake up in the morning? And,
yeah, that guy works there. The guy puts the advertisement.
Dude.
Yeah.
Guy works there, man.
Yep, look at you know.
Look at the Taco Bell. Who's opening a Taco Bell without an employee?
It's breakfast burrito every day.
Right.
It's, all
right.
times a week.
I just noticed something.
Mexican pizza.
Do you have the receiver, the graphic up? Like I
do.
know what you do.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same one I'm looking at. Okay, look at the George Kittle. Does it have all 6 like movie posters?
Yeah.
All on the same graphic?
Yeah.
Look at the George Kittle.
Yeah.
And notice where it says receiver. What does it have after it?
An asterisk.
Look at the rest of them.
Yeah, well, the rest of them are actually receivers. George Kittle's a tight end.
Do you think they put the asterisk there because he's a tight end?
Yep. I do.
Interesting.
And now here's the other thing. Do you think that they went into this saying let's get Kittle and Debo, or do you think that one of them just became so prominently displayed, like you kept picking up stuff? They're like, all right, let's just mic him up too. Good God, he doesn't shut up.
Maybe. It's quite possible. It does seem awfully weird that they got 2 guys on the same team.
Yeah, and it's funny because one is a tight end, and the other, a lot of people don't even consider a receiver in Debo.
I'm going to guess this started with 4 guys, Devontae, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, and Debo. And they were like, this Kittle guy's quite a character, and we can mic him up too.
You know, the poster shows something also among these receivers and tight end. There's that you hear when you're taught to catch a football. Do you catch with your hands or your eyes? If you look at all 5 of these pictures,
Yeah.
they catch with their eyes. Look at all of their eyes in these posters, if you will. I mean, just staring at the ball as it's coming in.
Well, I must have a different poster because Amon-Ra and Devontae Adams have the face shields where you can't see their eyes. I can't
but
see
their head
Debo's
head
eyes.
is centered on the football, though. The other ones you can clearly see they're looking at it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Catch the ball with your eyes.
So the other thing about Kittle is was it his wife that did all the coats, the custom made coats? She put those jackets together out of
No, it was the guy that Gator hates, the fullback.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I kind of.
My bad.
You should.
USAC.
Yeah, Gator can't stand that guy.
He's
All
really
right.
good. But.
If you don't have Netflix, it's more than just Tyson, Jake Paul to get Netflix now.
Oh, by the way,
Receiver coming out.
Did you see day 2 video of Tyson hitting mitts, Kang?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pulling so hard for him. You don't have no idea. Like we're all on the same page. We want him to win.
He's like, it's day 2. And then he goes ahead and just starts hitting the mitts.
Was that your Tyson?
I'm not going to do it like Tyson. You might hear it. I could be in trouble.
All right, straight ahead. Gator, you asked a question. I was shocked you asked it in your show sheet. Shocked, I tell you. We'll get to that today at 11:32 here on Carson Anderson on 97.1 The Ticket. Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Gator asked me an interesting question in the show sheet I did not expect.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Yeah. You threw me a curveball, man. We'll get to that coming up in a moment. First, back to your open line calls. Justin in Madison Heights. Hi, Justin.
Hey, guys. What's going on, man?
I don't know. Maybe we need to ask you what's going on. What's the noise?
Yeah, that should be better, yeah?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I had to run outside from the shop real quick.
It's okay.
I just wanted to weigh in, man. I'm excited about all this stuff, dude. Amon-Ra receiver. That's going to be fun to watch.
Yep.
Absolutely love the Zeitler signing. I was that grumpy guy that all my Lions friends didn't really want to talk to because early in free agency, I was like, no, this is not enough. This is not acceptable. I was very underwhelmed. And then we signed DJ Reader, and I was like, okay, all right, you're moving the needle now. This is a good one. Zeitler, that put me over the top. I feel so much better about the free agency. I feel so much better about this team moving forward on the season. And like you guys have all said, right now we can kind of go BPA in the draft. And Simon Edmondson, it's about time, man. I'm excited. I feel good about this game tonight, man. Hopefully, like you guys said, a little shot in the arm, a little energy, a little young kid coming in. You know, let's
it's an exciting time. Look, I mean, this is one of those great weeks in sports where March Madness starts. You still have NFL free agency going on. We're moving in. I mean, it's a week from Thursday is opening day. Like it gets this is a great time. It is a great time. So lots going on. The Red Wings were the playoff stretch drive here. I see Edmondson. I wonder how much Edmondson's going to matter and how much the presence of Edmondson's going to matter. Because sometimes that injection of life and the injection of youth and excitement can impact everyone.
That's where I'm at, 100%. Like, just the guys, the veterans want to show, okay, we got the young kid, let's show them the ropes, right? Let's show them, how we play. Hopefully that kind of excites the guys. And I'll tell you what, man, I don't care about baseball. Love the sport, like to play it. I just don't care. But listening to you guys every day, I'm like, I might watch some baseball. I might watch some Tigers baseball.
Let's go.
Yeah,
right.
Come on, man.
Gator, Doug, who's your guy, the pitcher throwing 102 miles an hour?
Jackson Jobe.
Yeah, man, you got me excited about him. My buddy's like a really big baseball guy. And I'm taking talking points from your guys' show. And, hey, what do you think of this? I'm talking to my buddy. And, he's like, okay, look at you getting into baseball. So, yeah, man, love the show, guys.
Thank you.
Love the energy. What an exciting day.
Yep. Say hi to the guys in the shop.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
So regarding the Red Wings, Ansar Khan tweeted this out. It says, per Derek Lalone, Wallman is out with a lower body injury. He's day-to-day. Edvinson will play in the top 4. Rasmussen is sick and a game-time decision. Another defenseman also ill and game-time decision. Larkin will practice tomorrow, but Thursday is a bit aggressive for his return. So
even Thursdays.
Yeah. So is Edvinson going to be up for the rest of the season, or is this just an emergency type situation where he's up for a game or two until these guys get healthy? We'll see. But you're bringing Edvinson up because you can, and I think you want to take a look. And the fact that he's playing in the top 4 grouping, and by skating today, it looks like with Petrie.
Yep.
I think that tells you that they have high expectations, and if you're bringing him up, he's a better option than what you have on your roster.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason that you should bring him up. All right, as much as I want to see him because he's young, it's not that. You bring him up because he's better than whoever, Olimata or Gostisbehere or Hull, whoever it is. If he's better, he belongs on the roster.
But hold on. Do you bring him up because you know he's better, or do you bring him up because you think he's better? You think he might be better? Because I'm not so sure they know. I think it might be, let's kick the tires and see what this can do.
Well, if you're kicking the tires, it's not just out of curiosity. I think you're kicking the tires because you have a pretty good feeling about it.
Well, I hope it's the case. I'm just not as convinced that they know he's going to be better than what they have here. But all right, so Gator asked me a question on a show sheet. Will you fill out a women's bracket? Will you?
I will not.
Okay.
But I brought this up because, the last year and a half or so, wow, has there been a lot of interest because Caitlin Clark, what LSU did last year, South Carolina being undefeated this year. Not that they haven't been undefeated women's teams in the past. We, of course, with Tennessee and UConn and all this, we've seen it.
Yep.
But it feels like there is way more interest in women's hoops over the last year and a half than there ever was, and by a lot. I mean, we're seeing games that are getting just massive viewership. So because
Iowa,
it's
Nebraska,
hot,
just so people know, the Iowa-Nebraska Big Ten championship game had nearly, just very close to the same rating as Duke, North Carolina regular season. And that's the Caitlin Clark effect, obviously. Sorry, go ahead.
And add to that the betting aspect, because now there's so many states allow for legalized sports gambling. And then you've got your brackets in general. I just wonder if now is the time. Is this a perfect storm where people are really getting into the tournament for women and start to parachute in to watch it because not only do they just want to see it, but also because maybe they started to wager on it as well.
So last year we were flying back from Montana at the end of spring break, a ski trip out there, and our entire flight was the women's national championship game. And my whole family, everybody was watching it. And it was the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese game. It has now compelling personalities, which drives so much interest. Obviously, all-time leading scorer in the game. LSU seems to kind of constantly be embroiled in controversy. Angel Reese is a compelling figure. The head coach is out there. They got the huge brawl with South Carolina, who's undefeated and won the SEC. And it's something you brought up there. It's funny because it used to be Tennessee, UConn. And for those who paid attention, it was always expecting Tennessee, UConn to be standing at the end. And now you have some others mixed in with some regularity. I mean, it didn't just happen this year. And you have compelling personalities. And for the first time, I'll just give you what my instinct was. My instinct was that ESPN was forcing a lot of coverage because they had the tournament on their airwaves and was trying to drum up interest. Now I think people actually do have some interest in watching these compelling personalities. So I won't fill out a bracket, but I know when Michigan and Michigan State play. And I know Caitlin Clark, I'll be trying to pay attention to them. Although the first rounds of the women's tournament, the 1s versus 16 in the women's tournament are worse than the men's tournament.
Well, and this is the thing, like from a gambling aspect, are seasoned gambling veterans, are they that have already been betting on women's sports, are they like, this is where you clean up? You get these high spreads, but they cover all the time. I mean, there's such huge disparities.
Yeah.
At least it used to be there were like less than a handful of really good women's college basketball programs.
Yeah.
And now it's much more homogenous, I guess.
Well, let me work my way through here and see if I can find. They don't have. Well, maybe I can. East region. I want to find some point spreads for the women's game, and I'm not finding because some of those early games, yeah, you could have massive point spreads. But, yeah, I'll have one eye on it, and if I see the right opponents, if I see South Carolina, LSU, or Iowa, Michigan State make a run, I'll keep an eye on it for sure.
Will you throw a dollar in anything? Do you see yourself doing that?
No, I don't.
Not even a dollar.
No. Would you? Are you going to do it?
No.
Okay.
But I usually don't bet until football starts up.
Okay. Oh, you're on a hiatus?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I just basically bet football if I bet.
Okay. Fair enough. Speaking of March Madness, I've got something that I'm pretty sure will make you at least giggle. I think you'll at least giggle. We'll get to that today.
Does this involve Moorhead and Longwood?
No, it doesn't. It does not involve Moorhead nor Longwood.
Okay.
We will get to that today at 12:02. Reset the Lions topic. It's Carson Anderson, Open Lines. I mean, look, if you're out there and you've never watched the women's tournament before, are you watching this year? Are you watching this year? Have they caught your attention? 248-539-9797. Phone calls, feedback. 97.1, The Ticket.
Hey, so look, with your house right now, you got to figure things out, right? The weather is changing dramatically. We know this, and either maybe have a problem with your furnace, or you're looking ahead and you want to make sure that your air conditioning is all set. Or maybe you got a problem with your hot water tank. Well, look, the great folks over at Birmingham Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they know what it takes to keep your house as comfortable as possible. And right now they got a great deal where you can replace that clunky water heater with a tankless one for free with the purchase of a Comfort Maker furnace and air conditioning package. They've got over 100 years of combined experience. They're the team that I trust the most. I have them come out to my house a couple times in the last 6 months. They came out the next day to fix my issues. They're awesome. Visit them at birminghamplumbingco.com. That's birminghamplumbingco.com.
All right. Well, that was met with hostility. We move on. Straight up hostility.
People, suffice it to say, people are not that interested in the women's tournament? Nope.
Well, it's not that they're not interested. Let's just call it straight up hostility. The men's tournament gets underway tonight with the playing games down, the first four, whatever the hell they call them now, down in Dayton. Colorado State and Virginia could be an interesting game. And if you're a Michigan basketball fan, Nico Medved, the coach at Colorado State, could be on the Wolverines' radar. So if you want to do a little scouting, there you go.
They may want to hire somebody quick. They lost a recruit yesterday, a top 40 recruit, and then today there's word that Terrace Reed is entering the transfer portal.
Yeah, take your time. Find the right coach. You can't, in this day and age, you can't, it's way too easy for players to leave. Just take your time, get your guy, and then you'll go to the portal.
A lot of recruiting going on in the next several weeks.
Yeah, it sure feels like it. But anyway, so men's games tonight. And we told you Simon Evanson's been called up. Look, Detroit is in a position we call it a y'all better win a game because they're playing a Columbus team that has the fewest points in the Eastern Conference. But there's relevance in the playoff chase. You've got a Pittsburgh team that trails Detroit by 5 points, taking on a New Jersey team that trails Detroit by 6 points. That's tonight in New Jersey. Carolina's at the Islanders. The Islanders trail the Red Wings by a point. Buffalo trails Detroit by 3 points in the chase for the final playoff spot. They're at Vancouver. And Tampa, who's 4 points ahead of Detroit for the first playoff spot, they're playing at Vegas. So it is one of those nights where there's going to be a lot going on with the movement and the standings in the NHL. There's a lot of teams hunting for this last wild card spot. It's going to be wild down the stretch for a team with 14 games to go, the Red Wings, and looking for an injection of life from Simon Evanson, who gets the call up today. Gator, it's the Mega Millions is at $875 million.
Woo!
Have you purchased your tickets yet?
Yes.
You have?
I did.
All right.
Yesterday.
How you feeling about your numbers? Do you ever look at the numbers and go, I like
Never
these?
look at them.
Never once?
Nope.
There's no point.
Okay.
There isn't.
Fair enough. Kang, have you purchased your tickets?
No, but I will tonight.
Okay. Is there going to be a line?
There hasn't been the times I've gone.
I've never had a line.
Yeah, I think with the online and stuff now, I think the line thing is
that
distant
over?
memory. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. All right. We like to do if you win. Okay. If you win, you guys are allowed to dream. You buy the dream. I do not buy the dream. I cannot answer these questions. I just asked them. If you win, what would your ultimate backyard patio / outdoor kitchen must have?
All right. So everything.
A Taco Bell.
No, I mean, honestly, you think about it, you want to have an outdoor kitchen, it's going to have everything. You're going to have the big grill. There's going to be a smoker. There's going to be a griddle. There's going to be a pizza oven.
I was about to say wood-fired pizza oven.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of the smaller refrigerator units out there.
Okay.
As well. There's going to be a beverage station. I mean, it's going to be set up really
Big
nice.
fire pit.
Yeah, of course. I'm just thinking about the outdoor kitchen, let alone to get to the other accoutrement in the backyard. Yeah, I'm going to have a ridiculous pool that is
swim up bar.
Not a swim up bar necessarily, but it's going to have lots of rock features with various jumping rocks at different heights. It's going to look like it's just, you found this beautiful waterfall oasis out in the middle of somewhere.
Birmingham.
Alabama. Yeah.
Birmingham, Alabama.
I don't want to say, I mean, somewhere where there's like just big, like Tennessee, right? I always talk about Tennessee rock.
Oh, okay.
Like something like that. It's going to look just fantastic.
It's going to look like it's a natural formation.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, different jumping rocks at various heights. Like there's 1 to 2 feet, there's 1 to 5 feet, there's 1 to 10 feet.
That's interesting. I hadn't given the whole jumping rock thing much thought.
It's
going to have to be a deep pool.
Yeah. Well, in one area, it'll be very deep, but it's and it would also have a separate area, have a separate lap pool.
About like a shower to rinse yourself off.
Outdoor shower,
outdoor.
absolutely.
Sunflower things. Well, Kang, did he miss anything that
Well,
you'll make sure you have in yours?
Was the original question the backyard or outdoor kitchen?
It's patio, outdoor kitchen.
Okay,
Patio
all right.
/outdoor
Okay.
kitchen. Yeah.
So I guess never. I don't
He
have to
went-
talk
he
about
went
the
all
pool.
pool,
I
but-
mean,
Yeah,
pool is
that's what I
my
was
big
just
thing. Obviously, the outdoor kitchen's
Yeah,
huge.
and I'm going to have a garage, and I'm going to
Yeah,
put cars in it,
exactly.
and I'm going to have a private helicopter.
Hey, man,
yeah, a volcano.
dare to dream.
What?
Lots of fire pits. Yeah, fire pits a must.
Yeah.
Yeah, like tiki bar type thing too.
Somebody pointed it
I
on
don't know about
Twitch.
Tiki Bar.
Somebody, Coy Boy 1 says, Gator wants the Hugh Hefner grotto.
Yeah, but more not as
Less DNA. You know?
Oh, you turn on the lights? Those aren't the lights aren't on. No, it's glowing
Yes.
on its own.
That's DNA.
All right. What about it? Did he miss anything, or did he get it all?
Did you mention fire pit?
Yeah, it has to be a sweet fire pit. Yeah, and probably not multiple fire pits, but there's going to be a great fire pit with
You know he didn't
with
mention,
amazing seating.
What's that?
Where's Lois fit in this backyard?
Oh,
no, there's the yard. This has absolutely been thought of. Okay, because
See that cage over there?
no, there's no cage. The house sits on a nice acreage of property, right? Probably a couple acres. We've talked about this in the past. It would be completely fenced, and there would be a dog area where she has all types of room to roam.
Away from far away.
Yeah. If I wanted to bring her in the pool, if I'm hanging out in the backyard, she can hang out with me in that area. That's fine. But if she's just like being let out, there's a whole separate area that she can go that does not include going by the pool or the patio. It's separate from all that. And the yard would have to be crowned in such a way that there will be no puddles gathered for dirty paws to traipse in stuff.
Wait, the yard will be crowned in
Yeah,
such
because
a
the way my yard is, in my backyard, I've got some like lower spots that when it rains, it fills up with puddles.
So you're going to have good drainage.
It's been
for the
great
dog.
drainage.
Okay.
Great drainage.
Okay, Kang, is there anything you need to add for your backyard outdoor kitchen /patio?
I'd like a sink.
All right.
Like a nice stainless steel sink. No one ever brings up the sink. I'm just saying.
To
Part of
go
the
with
kitchen,
everything.
isn't
To go
it?
with everything that he's mentioned.
People want to know, by the way, real quick, where is the telephone pole going to be, Gator?
There will be no telephone pole.
Sure. Because no one will claim responsibility. That's
Well,
why.
there's that, and they're unnecessary now because everything is digital.
All right, next up. If you win the Mega Millions, $875 million tonight. What is the number one fantasy /dream sports experience you would pay for? Okay, now this could be a variety of things, but one immediately pops into my head that I suspect you would do. The fantasy /dream sports experience you'd pay for.
Well, I can't skate, so it wouldn't be hockey.
Yeah.
As much fun as that would be. I've done baseball, and it's a blast.
Yeah.
Basketball, absolutely not. I'm horrible at it, so no. What is there with football? Probably not. It would be golf. Something to do with golf.
Like you'd play Pebble Beach is what I thought you'd.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't buy your way onto Augusta.
Yeah.
You can't buy your way onto it. You
might be able to.
You might be able to. You're right.
With 800, although after taxes and the cash, the lump sum payout, you're looking at like $250 million. Something like that. Is that enough to get invited by Augusta to join their club? Probably not. But I could play Pebble Beach. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, it would be golf. Going to different courses all throughout.
What about you, Kang?
I got two, but I don't know if they count, Doug. I'm going to say them, and you let me know, okay?
Yep.
I'd love to be in a draft war room.
Oh.
Okay? Like, that's the fantasy. If I could just buy my way into that.
It's
Brad Holmes,
an awesome one.
You know, Dan Campbell let me in, Disner. I'd love to sit over there and watch this whole thing operate, the phone calls, everything. That's one.
Okay.
The other one, I'd love to be part of a fight camp for a huge title fight. I just want to be the guy. We're going to watching them train, hit mitts. I get to walk out with them. I get to be in the ring, the corner, the whole thing.
Cool. That's an experience
like
right
that
there.
whole experience would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think the draft thing is possible. The other one I think is totally possible.
Oh, yeah. There's always a guy that doesn't belong. I'm that guy. I want to be that guy.
I will sponsor you.
I want to wear the robe with the name on the back, everything.
All right, coming up next hour, one of my favorite March Madness facts that I think will make Gator giggle. But we also have a huge, well, not huge, but another very, very good Detroit Lions signing from Brad Holmes. We'll get to that in the noon hour as well. Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. All right, some stuff happened in the NBA last night we got to talk about. I think a lot of us can relate to it. We will get to that coming up in a moment. 248-539-9797. All right, we'll get to the Lions signing in a minute. Last night, I really started my preparation for March Madness. There are teams that I've seen plenty of and teams that I have not. So you go through, I look at everybody's resume, figure out, I better watch a little bit of this team, a little bit of that team. And I came across a team with a fact that absolutely fascinates me. The McNeese State Cowboys went 30-3 this year and won the Southland Conference. Awfully impressive, 30-3.
Mm-hmm.
They opened the season at VCU and won. That was their first game of the year. That was the only game they played against a team in the KenPom top 100 teams in college basketball. So you have quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, quad. That's the only one they played of a team that was ranked in the top 100 in college basketball. After that, and I want to try to make sure I get this right.
What conference are they in?
They're in the Southland.
Southland.
Their second game was against Biblical Studies.
I would not have done well.
Their third game was against Champion Christian. They later played a team. Their fourth game was against a team called Latorno. And then later in their non-conference, they played Mississippi University for women.
I don't understand that. I'm looking at their schedule. They won that game barely. Oh my God! Do you see how much they won the game by?
Yes.
That's the whole reason that you wanted me to look at this is for that, and I picked it off.
Yeah. What was the score of the game against Mississippi University for women?
Well, McNeese State won it 92-23. Not very close.
Now, you're asking yourself, a team in the men's March Madness bracket actually played MUW, Mississippi University for women? Yes. Men have been admitted to MUW since 1982. And they have a men's basketball team at Mississippi University for women.
That's just ridiculous.
Yep. So, suffice it to say, McNeese, who went 30-3, has played very little competition.
So just so I got the math right, they beat Mississippi University for women by 69 points.
You're getting better at math, Gator.
I am. Well, this is the kind of math I like. Yeah. That is pathetic.
Yep.
That's absolutely pathetic. They win their conference tournament, and that's why they're in the tournament.
So Mississippi University for women, which fields a men's basketball team, they're Division III. So they played a team that wasn't Division II, wasn't from a crap conference, as you like to say. They played a team that was a Division III team.
Well, on the resume, they did beat Michigan.
That is true.
At Michigan.
Yeah, they did.
There's a bullet point on the resume.
Not a top 100 team, Gator.
Oh, my God. Michigan, what a horrible, horrible basketball team you put out there this year. I mean, that's embarrassingly pathetic.
I watched many of the games. I'm fully aware how bad they were. Latorno. What do you know about Latorno?
Wasn't that the last name of the woman who had the teacher?
Billy Falau or whatever his name was. Was it Mary Kay Latorno?
Mary Kay Latorno. She's the teacher that had sex with the 14-year-old?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's Latorno. I mean, what do I think of? That's what I think of.
Yep. Guess what state Latorno is in?
Disarray.
Imprisonment.
Yeah, right.
confinement.
Laterno is, I'm going to guess it's Louisiana.
Kang, any guesses?
Arkansas.
Both in the ballpark. It's in Texas.
Okay.
Laterno.
I thought maybe a little.
Also a Division III opponent. Champion Christian College. This might be my favorite of all of them.
I like Contender Christian. Thought they were very strong.
Yeah.
Champion Christian.
Champion Christian College is in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Has an enrollment of 150 students.
Come on.
And McNeese State played Champion Christian College.
10% of their student bodies on the team?
More.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Of their enrollment, at least.
Yeah. This is quite the resume this team has put up there.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys know when they have a player that you never heard of, maybe it doesn't have any resume, like they don't have a picture of that player. It's like a blank silhouette.
Right.
It's like a shadow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doug, some of these schools don't have, it's like a shadow.
Yeah.
They don't have a
no,
logo.
There's no link to them.
Yeah, there's no mascot. It's just, it's a blank like crest.
College of Biblical Studies, Champion Christian, Mississippi University for Women are the teams that just.
Did they play Bishop Sycamore?
They might have. They might have.
2 conference games against Incarnate Word.
Champion Biblical Studies is known as CBS. And they have a men's and women's basketball team. Although they don't, that school does not have a Wikipedia page, so I can't figure out where they play. They just wrapped up their season beating Delta Christian College, for what it's worth. So that is McNeese State's resume, 30-3 with wins over those teams. Laterno.
17-1 in their conference.
You don't say.
They only lost to Southeast Louisiana.
The Southland might not be the strongest of conferences.
What?
But McNeese got a 12 seed. So they take on Gonzaga. By the way, you know who the coach is at McNeese? Remember Will Wade, the coach at LSU that got caught on tape trying to buy and sell players?
No.
And he was going to make an offer? Yeah, he didn't. He got fired.
Wasn't that Nick Nolte?
Kind of was.
Or was it? Sorry, that was a movie, Blue Chips.
Yes. So anyway, there you go. There's the McNeese State resume.
And
impressive, huh?
That is quite impressive.
And
Listen,
did you not giggle? I told you you'd giggle.
I mean, I'm just going through Mississippi University for Women.
Yep.
That's funny enough. But then when you look at the point differential,
it's unbelievable, really.
69 points.
Of course. All right, so.
Oh, Michigan.
So bad. So bad.
To lose on your home floor to a team that scheduled a game against College of Biblical Studies, Champion Christian, and Mississippi University for Women.
I wonder if prior to that
Laterno.
game, which assistant coach had the scout, and did they have video of Mississippi University for Women playing against McNeese State? And again, recapping, just if you just joined, they do have men are enrolled at the Mississippi University for Women, and they do have a men's basketball team. But bizarre. Okay.
Well, I'm rooting for him.
Are you? I'm not rooting for a Will Wade team. But,
I'm surprised staff wasn't on their schedule.
Right.
You know, like when the students play, like, do they count that as a win as well?
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, Lamar's got to be kicking themselves. They lost to him twice. The second time they lost by 2 points, 58-56. That's just a heartbreaker for Lamar.
Yeah.
They played one of the Martins as well.
They played Lamar 3 times. When they played one of the Martins.
Yeah.
UT Martin?
Yeah.
Sweet.
There's Albanian Martin, Chaldean Martin, and UT Martin.
Yes, UT Martin, yes. He hasn't called in a while.
Well, it's off season.
Yeah.
He's busy, man.
Okay. So
They're busy.
The Lions make a signing. Guard Kevin Zeitler. He's one of these. I listened to an interview with him, and he sounds like a guard. Everything about him is guard. 34 years old, coming off a Pro Bowl season. He was considered the 31st best free agent available, according to The Athletic. Jonah Jackson was like the 47th best free agent available, and the Lions signed him for 1 year, $6 million. Jonah Jackson was 3 years, $51 million. Still money to spend, but they look a lot like they are fielding a complete football team already with money still left and a draft still to go. We'll talk about this signing, what it means, what Brad Holmes has done, coming up next here on Carson Anderson on 97.1 The Ticket. From upsets to buzzer beaters, nothing compares to college basketball in March. And no, I'm not taking McNeese to make a run. I think Gonzaga will bounce them right away. The best that the Southland has to offer, McNeese State. But sometimes you're wrong, or on the wrong end of those moments, right? And that's why FanDuel is giving everyone a no-sweat bet from now until March 20th. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You get bonus bets back if your bet doesn't win. You can even use your no-sweat bet on a college basketball parlay. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. If you don't already have it, go to FanDuel.com/Doug. That's FanDuel.com/Doug. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Must be 21 or older and present in Michigan. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Maximum refund is $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at